You love the steak.
But this is a big week here because Norm is retiring after 23 years at the ticket, 48 years on the air doing talk radio in Dallas-Fort Worth. Norm Hitzges is hanging up the microphone on Friday, and so we're paying tribute to him all week long.
I think one of the greatest things about Norm is passion for radio and talk radio and sports. Norm can get passionate about just about anything that has to do with sports, especially.
Yep.
And we've got some moments here where Norm got really ticked. The first one is one of my favorites. It's really subtle, and you just have to visualize this because obviously we can't see what's happening, but this is right after Norm got to the ticket. So he's not even sure he wants to work here to begin with because he's got to start working with all of us jackasses. And this is back when somebody was always getting pranked. And our night show at the time thought it would be funny to put an air horn on the bottom of a chair in the studio, so when you would sit down, the air horn would go off. And it got us. It got our traffic reporter several times. She kept forgetting and would come in to do traffic and would sit down and then adjust, and the horn would go off, and she'd scream, and we'd all laugh. And then we left the chair in there for Norm. And I think Gordo switched it so there was no doubt that Norm would sit on it. So he sat down originally and then forgot about it and then started doing his show. And this is when Norm had about enough of the air horn. And what you need to picture is when you hear the sound in the background, that is Norm standing up, and he's a former kicker, kicking the chair across the studio and scaring his crew so bad that his producer at the time, Mark Freeman, has to say, I'll bring you another chair.
The Yankees can pay $225 million a year in salary and make money. If Tom Hicks pays $225 million a year, even as rich as Tom Hicks is, he takes the gas. And yes, I'd like to see the Rangers spend more, but if you spent money on last year's team or this year's team was way more deserving of
Grubbs is coming and getting you a chair.
It was way more deserving of support than
God. Man, he was so mad. I think he was about to say that's it and walk out of the studio and say, this ticket thing is not going to work.
Imagine just driving around and you're maybe not that familiar with the ticket. What are you thinking is going on?
What's going on in that studio?
Did I hear an air horn?
We're going to bring you another chair. Drew's going to bring you another.
Why is he so distracted? Why does that chair have an air horn that they need to bring a new one in?
Gosh, that's so awesome when you just wait for it. Wait for the horn in the background. Okay, this was Norm. And this turned out to be a very famous drop of Norm asking someone if they happened to be gay because of Michael Sam, who was trying to make it in the NFL as someone who happened to be gay, trying to play defensive line. And Norm got into it. This is Norm passion against caller.
The reason I don't like the signing of T.O. is what a nasty, personal human being he is. He is a wonderful player. He is a nasty.
That, Norm. You saying he's nasty because he gets in problems with the law, or because he has problems with his teammates?
Derek, are you gay?
No, sir.
You like people suggesting it? Would you like people spreading rumors at your work that you're gay?
No. And you know
wait, Derek, answer the question.
It wouldn't bother me because I know the truth.
Bull. That's bull, Derek.
Okay, so
that is bull.
You enjoy the ticket making fun of you.
That to me is they're having fun with me.
Okay.
Sometimes they cross the line. But you know what, Derek?
Uh-oh.
I am about to say on this air, oh, you know what? Frito's gay. And mean it.
He was asked the question.
He was asked the question and said...
he didn't say he was?
What did he say, Derek?
You have to read into his statement.
What did he say?
He said if it looks like a duck, it must be a duck.
No, if it looks like a rat and smells like a rat, it's a rat. That's what he said, quote.
Did he say his words?
Oh.
Did he say he was
Good
gay?
God, Derek.
That was the question.
Derek, are you gay?
But no,
wait a minute, Derek, Derek, stop. Answer a question for me. Are you gay? Derek, are you gay?
Okay, would you?
Sorry, I misled you on the lead in there. It wasn't about Michael Sam. I forgot about that. I don't
About
remember that
T.O.
T.O. thing, yeah.
Did he say T.O. was a nasty personal human being?
Personal human.
What's a personal human being?
Yeah, play the beginning of that real quick just to make sure we got that.
The reason I don't like the signing of T.O. is what a nasty personal human being he is.
Boy, why did we get that T-shirt going?
Aren't we all personal human beings?
Are you gay?
Gosh, and yeah, I'm screaming that. Derek, are you?
Are you gay?
Speaking of human beings, that brings us to the Norm versus Dan battle, which is an all-time classic. Norm was mad about college football conferences waiting till the last minute to tell you, and I'm kind of with him on this. Now, am I ready to do 15 minutes on it and scream at everybody? No, but I'm not as passionate as Norm is, who was trying to make plans to travel and couldn't get a clear time on what time a game was kicking off, and then this happened.
I'm trying to find out, because I'm traveling that day, what time the kickoff is on Texas and OU. TV doesn't have a time for it yet. This is television doing this. Make up your minds and set a time. This is fan abuse. These are the flat bleeping idiots on television who will not set a time. This is ludicrous, and the people at ABC should be ashamed of themselves.
Come on, Norm.
Thank you.
Settle down. What if you find out next week?
Hey, Dan, there are people who fly in for this game.
I would like to check that.
What if it's 2:30?
How many people are flying in?
If the game's 2:30, Dan, you make a joke out of damned everything. This is serious.
Okay, Norm.
You don't see some people getting screwed by this?
Settle down. Hold on.
Do you not see some people being screwed?
Hold on.
Well, Dan, you're mocking the damn thing.
Yes, I am.
And Dan,
listen,
this is fan abuse.
You're acting like you starting to talk about 9/11 or something. And you yelling at me that I make a joke out of damn everything, and this is real serious. It's a freaking college football schedule, Norm.
It is a schedule for human beings.
Difference.
It's a schedule for human beings.
But then you're going to yell at me like I'm somehow trampling on some sacred ground. Like I shouldn't have mentioned anything.
It's because you mock it.
I'm not mocking it so much as I'm mocking your passion over this particular incident, Norm. TV runs the college football schedule. So let's just take it the way it is. Yeah.
Let's not object to it.
What are you going to do?
Well, one thing you can do is yell at them.
Aggie or whoever.
And Texas and Oklahoma should get off their asses and do something about this.
Why?
Oh, damn. Dan, why? Because maybe they have fans who'd like to make plans, Dan. Did you ever think of that? Okay, did you ever consider the fan who'd like to make plans?
They do it, like you said. They do it all the time. It's called The Way It Is.
Oh, yeah. The delivery of that line
One
from
of
Dan.
Dan's most famous sayings.
The way it is.
Dan, you make a joke out of damned everything.
Classic Norm, the legend, retiring on Friday.
But right now, a friend of the station, a person who's been on the station many, many, many times. Here is Fox 4's Mike Doocy.
Norm, Donnie, good morning to you.
Morning, buddy.
It is great to be in studio during this very, very special week. I can't tell you how much it means to me to be here, especially after that stirring segment on Stefon Diggs. Seriously, the fact that even now Norm can muster the passion to care that much about that player speaks to his intensity even as he nears retirement.
And you saw it in person.
I did.
You saw the couple of hairs on top of his head stand up.
That's all I have.
I know, and they're still active.
Well, Norm's been on Fox 4, I think, 9 times in the last day and a half right now. He's been on our air more than he's been on the ticket.
Well, after your show Sunday, I just found a place to nap out in the lobby and got up for a good day. But I did have a change of shirts, if you'll notice.
I saw that, and we appreciate you being on our show. Sam and I had a great time talking to you on Free for All Sunday night. We got a lot of positive feedback to that. The morning show the next day I don't really care about, but I heard it went well, so that's great.
God, you guys hate each other up there,
There's
don't
a little
you?
rivalry.
I know,
it's healthy,
I see.
though. It's healthy.
Is it?
Don't act like you don't understand what rivalries between shows are all about.
It doesn't sound healthy the way you talked off the air about those two on Good Day. I don't know how healthy it is.
I have a feeling some rivalries between shows are going to intensify a little bit up here in the next few weeks.
You
but
think?
Anyway,
you think?
Enough about that.
All right.
Norm, let's turn it back to Norm.
No, let's stay there.
Norm, I remember the first time that I was ever on the air with you, and I'm sure you don't remember this. I had not yet left Cedar Rapids for Dallas. This is early March 1994. The movers had taken our furniture out of the house in eastern Iowa. It was a cold early March day, like 15 degrees outside. And so we slept, my wife and my young daughter was 4 years old. She was 4 years old at the time. We slept on sleeping bags on the floor. So I knew I had to hop on with this big shot, Norm Hitchkiss in Dallas. I knew who Norm was because he was on ESPN and everything. He was nationally known. So I wake up early to do like a 7:15 a.m. phoner on the radio, and it was before we had cell phones, and I'm waiting for my phone to ring there. Never rang. I pick it up. It had been disconnected because we were moving. No dial tone. So I'm out in my pajamas in 15-degree weather in eastern Iowa, and my pajamas consisted of really short shorts, Donnie.
Gross.
And kind of a crop top.
Thank you.
I think you'd
Thank
call
you
it.
for that
so,
image. Yeah.
Is it an ab of obvious pajama top?
That was back when the abs weren't quite as grotesque as they are now. But anyway, I'm running around from house to house trying to find somebody at home who will allow me to use their telephone so I can hop on with Norm from, at the time, KLIF. Eventually, I think I was 15 or 20 minutes late. I did 15 or 20 minutes with Norm on the radio, and it was the beginning of a great friendship. And you've been so kind to me throughout the years. You had me on your old show on Cliff, and then we've worked together, obviously, a number of times here at the Ticket. And I just can't tell you what it's meant to get to know you and to work with you through the years. That's the only sincere thing I'm going to say during this appearance.
Thank you, Tim.
Yeah, that's. Oh, and that's the other thing, Donnie. We've talked about this, but for the first year and a half that I knew him, Norm called me Tim because Tim Doocy was a very successul jockey who ran. Where do you run, Norm?
Everywhere.
Hot Springs.
Oaklawn, Louisiana Downs.
Okay.
He's a good rider.
He came from a different strain of the Doocy family, obviously.
The athletic strain.
You're right.
Yeah.
He weighed like what would have been 110 pounds. My left thigh weighs that. But anyway, that was always kind of a running joke. He finally, Norm, most of the time gets my first name right now. But it's just been a joy right up to the time we had you again on the air last weekend. So thanks for everything through the years, Norm.
I really appreciate it.
And it's always those other special moments because we see everything and hear everything that's on the air. But I just remember the last time we were all together was the night with Norm, when they honored Norm, and you were the MC that night. And just to kind of be around and how everyone gravitates towards Norm, and this evening is about him, and yet he doesn't want it to be about him. He wants it to be about the good work that the Austin Street Center will do. And that was a fun night. You, me, Drew Pearson up, just kind of telling different stories and engaging the audience. That was a good time.
It absolutely was. And, let's make no mistake. Norm wants it to be a little bit about him.
Well,
okay. But no, it's about the cause, obviously. And the amount of work you have done obviously on behalf of Austin Street, but countless other causes through the years. I mean, it's just amazing. And I know that will continue. And I know that's part of the thing that you want to emphasize even as you pseudo-retire here. Because as we talked about on TV the other night, yeah, you're retiring, and you've talked about this a lot. You're still going to do the drafts. You're still going to fill in from time to time. And the charity work, public service work will continue to happen.
Am I filling in going to cost you some side work here?
I don't know, Norm. I don't really worry about myself when it comes to things like that. I'm sort of selfless, But as long as the Musers will have me in a handful of times a year, I'm happy. Let's not get into what may or may not happen with me on the ticket in the future. I don't think this is the time for that. But anyway, as we continue here, this very natural, comfortable conversation. Where the hell were we, Donnie? Oh no, we're talking about the night.
The night with Norm. Yeah,
I enjoyed that so much, and it was just perfect evidence of the way that people respond to Norm Hitzges.
And even the fact that because I've heard Norm and all the interviews that he's done since he announced the retirement, and he talks about the ticket making him a better host and maybe opening him up to some things that maybe he wouldn't have done when you worked at KLIF. And it was just I think it was the last Normathon or maybe the one before where you came out and got some footage so you can play on the air. And I said I would donate, I can't remember how much money, if you let Norm, he will feed you whatever that was in front of us. I don't even remember what it was. And I always think there's no way Norm would have done that 10 years ago. It was like, I don't care how much money you're going to pay. I'm not going to feed Mike Doocy on camera. But he was the first one to jump on it. Like, come here, Mike, come here. And just the slow motion replay of that.
I remember that.
Yeah, I could probably put that in a theater and it's like qualifies as a scary movie. But It was I think how Norm has opened up. Even since I've worked with him, it's some of the things that he's like, there's no way I'm talking about this.
Well,
but he's adjusted appropriately.
And Norm said this on our air the other night, and I'm sure he said it here on the ticket numerous times as well. The fact that it's, he came into this thing, sort of more or less forced to switch stations just given the circumstances, and kind of came in dragged, kicking and screaming, and probably assumed that things were done one way and then realized the kind of work that is behind doing this type of radio.
That's the truth.
I think that's the genius of this station, just as somebody who's always kind of been a student of radio. That was my first love in broadcasting. I still pay a lot of attention to it and love it, but just the fact that to make it sound as naturally funny and fun as the ticket does takes a lot of work. And I know Norm appreciates that more now than ever. But I think it's a great tribute to Norm that you've figured out a way to become a part of the fabric of this radio station when it didn't come naturally to you at first. And it was a heck of an adjustment.
Yeah, I really did think that the station was full of knuckleheads. Now, I respected several of the guys that I'd known through the years for their work, but that wasn't my style. That's what it came down to. But when I got here, excuse me, you're exactly right, Mike. When I got here, I realized getting to sound like a friendly, comfortable knucklehead took work. It took work, and this station reaches out to its audience so much more than any other station does. And I think that's part of it. Once you get out there and you touch some lives, be it through broadcasts, be it through Summer Bash, be it for ticket stock, be it for charities. I mean, look at the people who in less than 2 weeks are going to show up at Jub Jam to see George and his friends and go to the domino contest, Donnie, and drop by Normathon and many other spots. I think the station does a great job of that.
Yeah, there's a connection there that is unlike any other, I think, broadcast entity in the country, that's for sure. And Norm, you've against a lot of our predictions, frankly, have become such an integral part of that. For those of us who knew you back in the Cliff days, to see you make that adjustment, and the guys here make that adjustment to you, has just been beautiful to watch. But as we discussed on Fox 4 the other night, our television station is part of your history as well. You worked in the 70s back at what was CBS Channel 4 at the time. The great Eddie Barker was your news director, a man whose work was just incredible. He distinguished himself. He was on the air with Dan Rather that terrible day in November of 1963 in this in this city. But you did TV for a while and then found your true calling in talk radio as one of the great pioneers. So again, just fantastic to get to know you through the years, and I know we're going to continue to work together. That's the great thing. You'll continue to be on our free for all show weeknights 10:30 on Fox 4. Donnie's going to be on with Sam tonight. In fact, are you coming in the studio?
I think so. Yes.
Starting to have guests back in the studio again, so that's
right.
great. Just make sure the guard knows who you are. We don't want any incidents back there, but I'm sure it won't be a problem.
I hope not. I would love to know what Norm really truly thought about the first time this hot shot from Cedar Rapids was about to come to Dallas and join, and you were 15 minutes late. Like, he's too nice to say what he probably said when you first dissed him on the first.
I remember the first thing he did say once I finally found a working phone. It was something to the effect of, "Oh, interesting, a reporter who doesn't have a phone at his disposal. How does that work exactly?" Just really judgmental in the term.
Right.
But then he became warmer as the phone call continued. And then I filled in for him on Cliff a few painful mornings.
Did you really?
Early in
I
my
didn't know that.
time here. Fraser Maxwell was his producer.
Right, yeah.
And oh my God, you think I'm bad at talk radio now? I mean, it was horrible back early in my time here because we were just taking calls. You know, it was no banter.
We know how much you hate talking to people
with another host. Well,
Yeah.
I just didn't. I knew even less than I knew now, and it was tough. But Norm would call from whatever exotic location he was vacationing in, just to try to kill a half an hour with me, and call me Tim 7 or 8 times, and we'd figure out a way to get through it. So he's had my back for a long time, and we just enjoyed getting to know each other. Yeah, it was.
We need some of those.
It's not memorable.
We need some of those tapes.
No, not at all. I made sure that they were destroyed. But before I knew it, Norm and I were filling in here doing morning drive during the holidays from time to time. I remember a Whataburger remote or two where I put on a weird hat and stood at the drive-through and talked to people. It was wacky, Donnie. It was wacky radio fun.
That's what Norm is all about. He's all about the wacky, especially when you're in there, Deuce. Well, we truly appreciate you coming in to say your goodbyes to Norm. We couldn't do this without you, man. You're Doocy.
Guys,
and you paid me, so thank you for the check.
I would like to close with a little musical tribute.
Good Lord. Okay. I mean, no, go ahead. Yes.
It comes courtesy of the great Paul Anka, and it goes a little something like this. Good morning, yesterday. You wake up, and time has slipped away, and suddenly it's hard to find the memories you left behind. Remember, do you remember, Norm, the laughter and the tears, the shadows of misty yesteryears, the good times and the bad you've seen, and all the others in between? Remember, Norm, please remember the times of your life. I mean, your life at the Ticket, because I know your life isn't over. There's plenty of life for you still to live here at the Ticket, though it's pretty much the end, although you're going to be filling in from time to time. The times of your life. Love you, Norm.
Wow. I'm going to tell you one thing about Deuce, okay? He was coming to Channel 4 in Dallas, and we were calling him in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. And I thought, this guy is taking a step up the ladder.
You think?
I think so.
You think he didn't want to run around in his drawers at 15 degrees trying to find a phone?
Yeah, I'd rather do it on an 80 degree
That's
day.
right. That's right.
Whatever. See you guys.
Love you, Doocy.
Bye.
Thank you so much, man. We truly appreciate it.
Talk to you soon, Norm.
We will be joined by the Goose. He wants to say goodbye to Norm. We'll talk to Rick Gosselin next, right here on The Ticket.
Our friend of more than 30 years, Rick the Goose Gosselin. How you doing, buddy?
There you go. That's what we need.
That's a mating call, man.
Here's the Goose.
How can I follow that?
No.
Impossible.
There's no way. And by the way, before we start getting maudlin here and remembering the years we've known each other, could you give us a quick look at the first round of the 24 draft?
I'm taking a big step back. We're going to have to call Corey Shavis for that, Norm.
Yeah, well, I tell you, when I heard you're stepping back, I thought, well, you might as well just cancel the draft. I mean, the draft without Norm is not a draft. I don't know how they're going to get their players, but there's no sense even having the draft anymore. Norm has been an institution going back to our days at the Marriott, then Radio City. Remember we went to the Javits Center one year?
Oh.
Some of the best memories I've had in journalism were the draft, and with you, and with the bagels, and with Corey Chavis. That one year, Corey and I both sat in with you. Just great memories of Norm.
Great memories every Saturday of the draft. That was the last half of the draft where hardly anybody except Goose knew who was being taken, and we would get bagels and cream cheese and gather around the broadcast position. And every once in a while, Goose, somebody wandered by that we had no idea who he was, and we gave him a bagel. Jeez.
Sometimes it was your producer.
So I want to know how the relationship started, Goose, because, Norm's doing morning radio and you're writing. And how did you two meet and then decide, you know what, we need to do this thing on the air every single week for all these years?
Well, I was hired in 90 to cover the Cowboys. So, of course, you saw Norm, and I was a guest a lot, on the Cowboy when you guys talked about the Cowboys. And then I became the NFL guy. And I think Norm thought that's a great idea. He's covering all the teams. We can get a pretty good league-wide insight. And then, it became, I'm not exactly sure how it started, but it became every Tuesday. I mean, for the better part of 3 decades, actually more than 3 decades, 10:50, I'd be on talking whatever with Norm, but usually football.
Tell you what it was, Donnie. It's because at that point, we had been broadcasting the draft about 5 or 6 years. So I went to the draft, and here's Goose that I had as a guest for some time, sometimes. And at the draft, I find all these other guys, writers, guys with other teams, sort of sliding up next to Goose and talking in hushed tones. And then we'd get, I'm sure you guys remember this, Goose would put out his top 100.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, that thing got faxed and mimeographed all over America. And one year, I remember one year in particular, at the end of the first 100 picks, you would hit 91, 92 of them, something like that.
Yeah, I thought if I was ever under 80, I had a bad draft. And I was usually between 86 and 91, 92. But again, I had kind of pretty good insight from the people that were building their own boards. I knew guys. The media had a consensus who they liked, but my consensus was the teams. And a lot of times my boards, my drafts and my boards didn't jive with what the public perception was because I had league perception insight.
How many?
How
many teams wouldn't talk to you?
Oh, I talked to all 32, and a lot of at the end. I had my network was about 140 people that I talked to for the draft. I talked to all 32 teams, and I had multiple sources on different teams.
Whoa!
And they were no one ever lied to me because I was giving them as much as they were giving me. When I talked to a head coach or general manager, it'd be an hour and a half call. I'd go through my top 15 of each position, usually in the 2 or 3 weeks leading up to the draft. And they said, well, why do you have this guy at 11? Why do you have this guy at 4? So no one ever lied to me. That's the incredible thing because I was giving them, and there are a lot of guys that were drafted that I could see my fingerprints on, from teams. The insight that I gave them, and the most public one was Edelman, of course. But it was great. I love that time. It was I told the number of coaches and GMs, I had more fun in March and April than I did in October and November. The fun was building a championship team, not playing the games, and talking to everybody like that, and sharing the inside with Norm. It was every Tuesday, and that one of the most fun drafts was when you had Corey Chavis and myself on.
Corey Chavis was an ex-player, okay, John?
Right.
And what he wanted to do eventually in his lifetime is be a player personnel director. And he really wanted to do that. In fact, Goose, wasn't he a player when he was on with us?
Yeah, he was. I think he'd been to a Pro Bowl. He was a Pro Bowl cornerback with the Rams and I think the Titans. That one draft, I remember specifically one incident in that particular draft. It was two or three picks in, and we had Butch Davis on the phone.
Yeah,
and we asked Butch Davis, why would you take Edgerrin James over Ricky Williams? Because the public perception was Ricky Williams is going to be the first pick of the draft. And he explained it, and wouldn't you know it, Colts took Edgerrin James, and Ricky Williams went afterwards. I thought that was radio gold, having him as a guest and having say that, just for forecasting the future like that. But that's Norm. I mean, people come out with Norm. People talk to Norm. That's the great thing about being associated with Norm. You get the true skinny.
Well, I remember one year, Jimmy. May have been Jimmy's last draft or something like that. Maybe it was after him. And the Cowboys pick. And part of our shtick, Donnie, Sean, part of our shtick was trying to get the player on the phone before the Cowboys got him. Okay? Because the Cowboys would delay a few minutes calling him because Jerry made the call and things like that. Well, we had this long list of numbers for sports information directors where you can call and say, hey, yada, Dallas, boom. And we get guys in the air, especially Dallas picks. So, do you remember, Goose, when Dallas picked Charlie Williams, the cornerback from Bowling Green in the third round?
I remember he was stunned.
Everybody goes looking for their draft guides or their rankings, and Fraser Maxwell was the producer then, okay? So Fraser gets right on it, and he calls the Bowling Green SID, and the Bowling Green SID, he reaches him, and Fraser says to him, hey, I need a phone number. The Cowboys just drafted one of your players. And the guy said to Fraser, the Dallas Cowboys drafted one of our players? And Frazier said, yes. And the SID said, who? And Frazier said, Charlie Williams. And there was a pause, and the SID said, Charlie Williams?
Even he couldn't believe it.
Couldn't believe it. He just couldn't believe it.
And I think that was the infamous draft where the Cowboys were in a quote-unquote draft special teamers.
Oh, yes.
Which was just set the franchise back another 5 years.
That was 2012, right? 2011, 2012, something like that? Or is it further back than that?
It's further back than that. But
you never draft backups. You draft guys who, if they don't start, you don't draft backups. They spent a whole draft drafting backups. It was unbelievable.
Well, after the first round, I'd huddle with Goose for a little while or have him on the pre-draft show the next day going over people. And Goose was always so nice, but you could tell it in his voice. What kind of pick was this?
That looks like an F draft to me, Norm.
Yeah, Goose would give what I thought to be the most honest draft grades in the country. These other people who grade the draft, they're afraid to give anything below a C+. I mean, Donnie will tell you, there are some classes you flunk.
Yes, there are. Trust me. I know.
Well, my belief was every draft in the history of the NFL was an average draft. So everybody starts out as a C. You do a little better, you get a B. A little do worse, you get a D. I had 1 or 2 A's and 1 or 2 F's generally. But in a lot of guys' grade now, they start them all with an A. If you don't get an A, you a little less, you get a B. That's crazy. Every draft in the history of the league has been average at best.
I know.
So that was my premise. I'd give out 25 C's. Everybody'd be mad at me. You had an average draft.
They would. Donnie, that's the truth. They'd get upset. A C?
Yeah. A C means you did what you're supposed to do. So why are you upset about that? But yeah, I recall that was. I think that was one of the. I think I gave the Cowboys 2 Fs over the years, and that was one of the Fs. I couldn't make. Usually, when I look at my draft board, I can figure out why a team took a player or why a team had it drafted. I scratched my head now, and I couldn't figure out what the heck they were doing with those special teams guys.
And by the way, it turns out they didn't know what they were doing.
Oh, right. They earned that grade, right?
Hey,
25 years later, they're still spinning their wheels.
Hey, Goose, I love you, man.
Love you too, Norm. It's been a great 3-decade ride for me, and I'm sure we'll be seeing you in the future.
We'll circle back. We'll have dinner.
Yes, sir. You know where we're going to have it.
Yep, I know where we're going to have it, and you know what? If you want Mary and me to bring dinner to your place, that works too.
Okay, I appreciate that, Norm. That's the type of guy Norm is. Always giving.
Hey, God bless you, man.
You too, Norm.
Goose, great talking to you. Thank you so much for joining us, man.
Okay, Don. You guys have a good week.
Thank you. That's Rick Gosselin, the Goose. Wishing Norm adieu.
Hang Zone coming at you.
Previously in the Hang Zone.
The thing about Houston is, one, it's just so flat and sprawling, and you get into Houston at the southern tip, and then 2 hours later you're like, I'm still in Houston.
This is driving back.
This sucks.
It's like the baseball of cities.
It just goes on forever, and you're kind of excited. You're kind of excited to see it when it starts, and you quickly lose interest. So yes, Bino. It is just.
You'd rather play Stratomatic Houston?
It's draining.
Just get the info about Houston.
Is this your homework, Larry? Is this your homework, Larry?
Look, man.
Dude, please. Is this your homework, Larry?
Just ask him about the car, man.
Is this yours, Larry? Is this your homework, Larry?
Is that your car out front?
Is this your homework, Larry?
We know it's his f***ing homework. Where's the f***ing money, you little brat?
Look, Larry, have you ever heard of Vietnam?
Oh,
You're entering a world of pain, son. We know that this is your homework. We know that you stole a car.
And the f***ing money.
And the f***ing money. And we know that this is your homework.
We're going to cut your off, Larry.
You're killing your father, Larry. All right. This is pointless. Okay? It's time for plan B. You might want to watch out that front window, Larry. Son, this is what happens when you f*** a stranger in the ass.
I want to make this plain that this next and final question comes from me to my friend Bob Article. I've known you for a long time. You are old school and you believe in the good soldier approach to all this. I know I did a job for 15 years here and loved it, and then didn't get to continue doing it in another sport, and it hurt. Does this hurt? Bob?
Yes.
Does it hurt?
Oh, yeah, it hurts. Of course.
Of course.
All right, how else can we get alcohol?
Yo, guys. What's up? Fogle, where have you been, man?
You almost gave me a damn heart attack. Let me see it. You out or what?
No, man. I got it. It's flawless. Check it.
Hawaii. All right, that's good. It's hard to trace, I guess. Wait, you changed your name to McLovin? McLovin? What kind of a stupid name is that, Fogle? What, are you trying to be an Irish R&B singer?
Oh, they let you pick any name you want when you get down there.
And you landed on McLovin?
Yeah, I was between that and Muhammad.
Why the f*** would it be between that or Muhammad? Why don't you just pick a common name like a normal person?
Muhammad is the most commonly used name on earth. Read a f***ing book for once.
Fogle, have you ever actually met anyone named Muhammad?
Have you actually ever met anyone named McLovin?
No, that's why you picked a dumb f***ing name.
You.
Give me that. All right. You look like a future pedophile in this picture, number one. Number two, it doesn't even have a first name. It just says McLovin.
What? What name? What name? Who are you, Seal?
Hang Zone coming at you. Hang Zone coming at you. Hang Zone coming at you.
Hi, I'm Dominic Robinson of the Ticket Collective, and I never listen to bad radio because it's dead.
Have you ever tried to jar a fart?
It's just afternoon on Sports Radio 96.7 and 1310 The Ticket. So pop that lunch on your car tray. Sit back and hang in the hang zone.
Justin doesn't know how to make his computer not ring when he gets a phone call.
I just didn't have it on
Why'd you
mute.
say it?
That was it.
Now Ham's already on his phone.
I already muted it. Don't worry about it. We're good.
I deal with this with court. No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Featuring
the devil himself, Matt Birmingham.
The Poultry Hall of Fame.
The Patriots equipment manager.
Which one is also Hitler's birthday.
Blake Jones. Who Blake Jones?
Can I ask you guys a question?
And now, your Hang Zone host. From noon to 3, it's Jake Kemp and Dan McDowell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Horse.
Yeah.
Gorse.
All right. It's 12:18 here on The Ticket.
Of course.
Work in progress. In for the Hang Zone once again. It's happening all week. So
until they kick us out.
Do whatever you like with that information. But, yes, we are here. Going to talk so much sports today. I wish we could just start now.
When are we going to rip Norm?
For what?
No, I don't know. Nobody's ripped Norm this week. Everybody's been
wait till Monday after he's retired.
Nice. Oh,
yeah,
he's
when he's gone,
great, which he is, but needs some ripping.
You're tired of, you want to kick his ass, not kiss his ass?
Let's have a rip Norm segment, and then we can be nice to him afterwards.
2:15 today.
I'll follow your lead.
Have you ever been mad at Norm? Have you ever gotten pissed at him? I have once.
No, why?
The only time I've been mad at Norm was when he spilled his jar of olive juice all over my laptop. And this probably would have been
like Power?
Intern days?
No, I was filling in, producing for him. Donovan was on the show at the time too. So probably 2017 or so, and we were in the small meeting room before the show. And he had his jar out, and he was just eating some olives and went to set it down, and it tipped over and all over my laptop.
You buy
all
a new
over
one?
it. No, he's sorry, pal.
Hand you one napkin?
I think he did hand me the roll of napkins.
What paper towel?
After you wipe your mouth on it.
You take care of it. You got it. It's fine. Go get me a coffee.
Is that common that he just eats olives in the meeting?
I mean, it's
that day it was.
Briny snack. You know,
I remember interning for him. He would have some leftover soup, but he'd have it in a giant Ziploc baggie. And I remember going down to the parking garage at the old place on Maple. So we're on the 13th floor, so you'd have to go down the elevator, walk outside. It's about the same walk as it is from here, but probably not as far. And he's like, yeah, can you go get me my soup? And I was like, okay. It's in the back of my car. And I imagined it would be in, a Tupperware container, or maybe just a can of soup, but it's in a Ziploc baggie.
Oh, that's gross.
And I just remember walking through the lobby of this busy building
with a bag
carrying
of soup.
and it looks like I'm carrying a bag of vomit.
Gross.
And then getting up to the old meeting room and just kind of handing it to him, and he doesn't warm it up. He just gets a spork, which a spork is a great invention.
Yeah.
All forks should be sporks.
You're a big fan.
And he just opens the bag and digs right in.
Would
and
it have
starts
been
eating.
grosser if he just kind of...
It's Norm. It's what he does.
He opened a corner of the bag and just started doing like the end of a bag of chips.
Once he got to the end, I don't remember it vividly, but just knowing that it's Norm, he probably did just take it straight to the
dripping
dome
down both sides of his mouth.
We should study his stomach for science. Some of the stuff that guy's eaten, and the time.
I think he's gotten better.
I think so.
I think he's gotten healthier over time. He does look good. He's lost a little weight.
You did turn this into a Rip Norm segment.
We're not ripping Norm. I just said
wish.
the one time I was mad when he spilt the olives on my computer, and then I got over it. It was fine.
I think it's more interesting the way he transports food versus what he eats. like taking home the cup of rice and beans, or like, you know, he has a styrofoam cup, or he'll just put shrimps in his pocket.
No way.
That kind of stuff. Well,
he does not.
I wonder how common that is for
tape some to his cane.
For people
He's
of that
walking out,
age.
you just grab one.
No,
his cane opens up and he puts food inside of it.
It's like a Pez dispenser.
It's like those candy canes you get at Christmas that have little Reese's in them.
Man, those shrimp are amazing, though. They did rename them Norm Shrimp at that place that caters us Tex-Mex on Sundays.
They are great.
On the menu, it's now named Norm Shrimp.
I just wouldn't.
I'm going to have to get me some soon.
Load up a fanny pack of them to take home.
We need to make the fanny pack a thing. It is a practical item. I don't know why it gets such a bad rap. I guess it is kind of
we have
weird
backpacks.
looking.
They do the same thing.
Yeah, but if you just need to, you can put your wallet in there. If you don't need a bunch, it's very practical. Put some gum, nice
that was
little
always
snacks,
like something
some
my
shrimp.
mom wore at Six Flags or the beach
or the Rangers game.
Yeah. She whip out the little sunscreen stick, rub on my nose.
See, anything you need, you can put in a fanny pack.
Butterscotch candies in there.
Yeah. I don't know if I want to do that. I'd rather just not have things with me than wear a fanny pack. Maybe if they renamed it. I thought about doing this in Business Tuesday, but I'm pretty caught up in the Titanic sub that's missing. I don't know how much you've read on this, or
I
Blake.
know the highlights, and it's wild.
Have you kept up with this, Blake?
No.
So there's a sub right now.
I had a hard time processing what you said.
Okay, so there's a
Submarine, not
like
like a sandwich.
Yeah, not like a hoagie.
There's a Titanic-sized sandwich that is missing. How has nobody ever done that?
Made a sub that big?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's one somewhere.
It'd fall apart. The intern that brought me the party sub was almost that length.
The closest, yeah. But no, this is a submarine that was designed to take passengers down to the Titanic. And it costs $250,000 per person. Now, when you hear that, you're probably thinking, okay,
this is going to be a party.
I'm going to have all the amenities. It's going to be great. No, it's basically the size of an elevator. It's bolted shut. You can't open it except from the outside. And
Dalton.
Right now, they've been missing since Sunday, and they have about 40 hours of oxygen left. And the U.S. Coast Guard, some European countries are trying to help find it. But videos are starting to surface of when this thing was announced by OceanGate 6 months ago about how this sub was built. People were like, yeah, I can see why that would have not gone well. It's ran by a modified PS3 controller.
Dude,
I'm not kidding.
Really?
Yeah,
Yes.
there's video of a tour of this thing that holds, I guess, 4 people plus the captain, and it looks like a Nathan Fielder skit. Like, it looks
It's just an enclosed, like, aluminum cylinder.
It's not comfortable looking.
And in a normal trip, I think you have to sit crisscross applesauce for about 8 hours.
And your bathroom is a urinal.
Yeah.
They have a urinal they keep, like, in the wall.
So you can use the restroom in front of the 4 other people.
The 4
There's no
other
escaping
billionaires,
that.
because they're all billionaires. You have to be to pay
And
that
this
much.
is to see the Titanic?
You don't. I mean, so what you see is they have cameras inside.
Oh, that's
you're looking at a video monitor.
That's dumb.
You could do that. We could do that right now.
We could watch the movie Titanic and see the exact same thing.
Now, are we ripping people that may be dead? Maybe. But they have no idea where this sub was lost.
They're dead.
And like I said, there obviously is limited amounts of oxygen inside that thing. And so they don't know if they're going to be able to save these people.
So my question to you, forget paying the $250,000 to do this. And let's say
you couldn't
it's
pay
before
me
this happened.
$250.
Yeah,
No.
how much would it take for you to go down in this thing?
Way. You couldn't pay me $250.
Solo trip.
Nope.
You and
What would you have to see on a video monitor to make it worth it?
I mean, I
Yeah,
wouldn't be able to
Elizabeth
survive
Taylor.
being inside that thing. My claustrophobia would stop my heart, for sure.
Did you say how long the trip is scheduled to be?
Yeah, it's supposed to be, I think, Ty said 8 hours.
No.
It's like a 9-day trip in total from like when you start to go out to the depth site or whatever, and then when you come back, the whole trip is 9 days. But the actual descent and then ascent is 8 hours.
I don't want to go down in that submarine, but I kind of want to try out a submarine at some point. I think that'd be pretty cool. It'd have to be big. I'm not getting down in a
Russian one.
Yeah,
so to speak.
Yeah, I don't know if I like that either. I don't know if I like being enclosed with the ocean around me.
Can that be our noon to 3 fill-in bit instead of pepper spray or scooters?
That's probably better than the Molotov.
We get a submarine. The Molotov.
Where?
The Molotov is probably easier to pull off. I don't know where
are you
submerging.
Yeah, where are you subbing at?
Like White Rock, maybe.
Lake Ray Hubbard.
What about
Cool.
Arlington?
Another alligator gar. Nice. Awesome.
South Garland.
South Garland.
Why did I say
Maybe
that?
in a lake I could get away with it, but in the ocean, no way. It's too terrifying.
Can you pull
and definitely not
pull
in
an
that
inner
one.
tube behind one?
If it's being controlled by the thing I played FIFA 08 on, there's no way. There's no way I'm doing that.
Video games.
You're putting in the Grand Theft Auto
Yeah, the
code.
cheat codes.
R1, R2,
More
L1,
oxygen.
R2, left down, right up, left down, right up. You get all the weapons in the game.
Yeah.
Still have that memorized from like 2001.
I don't think it's helping them. And imagine now, like those dudes, knowing that they're stuck and lost, they're just in full panic mode. And you're in the tiniest enclosed space with 3 other dudes or 4 other dudes that are freaking out as much as you are.
Do you think any of them have eaten any of the other passengers yet?
No, but I think they're getting mad at each other for how much the others are breathing.
Yeah, because you're wasting oxygen the more you freak out.
You're probably telling them, hey, let's just...
Maybe you
Hey,
kill
stop
them.
breathing for a little bit. Just chill out.
Just plug their nose.
And I heard some experts say that if it's lost power, it's not, people just assume it's going to be there by the wreckage of the Titanic. They said it could get into a jet stream and it is gone.
And that would be an awful way to go.
And there it goes.
Yeah, it's like the ballpark in Arlington.
Right center.
Yeah, it's those lefties just getting caught in that
Yeah,
jet stream.
Those hot summer nights.
Griffey, man.
Gets a hold of one. Well, hopefully they're okay.
T's and P's to them.
Moment of silence.
Well, not yet.
They're not dead officially.
Pre-moment of silence.
If they find them, should we break in, like breaking news?
Can you try to get one of them on the show if they're alive?
Yes.
They still got the towel around their shoulders.
Yeah. By the end of the
today.
show. We'll have one of the survivors and Dak Prescott on at the same time tomorrow.
Like before you go down there, would you eat anything that could be sketchy?
Oh no.
Like what?
Like if I'm going on a road trip, I'm very careful.
Could be your last meal though.
Yeah, but then man. Because if one guy has to do that in there, what do you do?
Would you rather be the person to do it or be the onlooker?
You'd rather
well,
be
I'm
the
not
person.
looking at him, but
well, you're that
probably
close that you don't really have a choice. It's just happening.
I don't know. You'd have to give me time to think about that one.
I think I'd rather be the other person. I don't want to be. I don't want to be.
But if it has to happen,
I don't want to be responsible for 4 other people getting mad at me for doing that evil.
I'd probably just open the
be in the
hatch
Dunham zone
and end it all for all of us, so none of us has to worry about it. Just try to swim up. All right.
YouTube.com/@SportsCreek.
This Tuesday.
Sponsor?
BOETexas.com.
Thank you, Ham. So, a couple of things I'd like to get to today here on Business Tuesday. One, there is a post going viral.
for all sorts of different
This has one very particular reason.
Okay.
So, a U.S. billionaire whose family is currently based in the U.K. is posting a job for a full-time dog nanny, which means you have to basically be with the dog 24/7, take him to appointments.
What kind of dog are we talking about? Or is that
They haven't revealed
Okay.
the breed of the dog. I guess so that it can go in public. Say, I have no idea. But they haven't released the guy's name, the family's name, or the dog.
Or the dog's name.
Or the dog's name. Yeah, they're keeping Spot, whatever generic placeholder dog name you have, under wraps.
Hot dog.
But right now, this billionaire family is offering $127,000 a year.
How do you apply?
Okay.
Yeah. Where's this at?
I could be.
You guys want to take pay cuts for this?
I'd be an amazing dog nanny.
I'm sorry?
You work in radio. You'll be rolling in it.
Rolling in something.
$127,000 a year to hang out with a dog all day. Basically,
pay me $140,000 a year. We can talk.
So you need
maybe we can haggle down to $135,000.
Look,
127. That's so random too.
It's 127 to 27 to be exact. So I'm sure there's some kind of cost.
I'm trying to work my way up a little bit more.
It has to be the dog's birthday or something.
They're getting him a nanny.
No, how they came up with the figure.
Oh yeah. But clearly there are thousands of people trying to get this job now. Because of course.
There are people right now after hearing this trying to apply for this job.
Yeah, and usually there's, you'll get every few months some dumb job. I think the one that came out a couple months ago was, I forget whatever website it was offering $1,000 to watch all the Fast movies. People just want to do dumb things for money.
Yeah, but that one was
So that's
hard.
where Jake is this week.
That one was hard because you had to calculate total damages done to the cars.
For a much smaller amount. Yeah, you had to be a claims adjuster. Here, you're just chilling with a dog. Now you have to move to the UK.
Yeah, and I kind of want to know. Yeah, I don't know if I do that. I want to know more about the dog, though. What type of dog?
Yeah, they're not telling you because it might be some awful dog that
special needs or something. Health problems,
nonstop diarrhea.
But even then, what kind of health problems could a dog have that you wouldn't be able to handle?
Diarrhea would be pretty bad.
Okay, dogs aren't going to diarrhea their whole life.
Like it's Bob from this weekend.
Like you just have to clean. Even then, clean diarrhea a couple times a day. You're making almost $130,000 a year. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I want to know. I want to know more about this. Or if this
I'm
guy
more
is
worried
just
about being under the employment of some billionaire who's going to sell me to make adrenochrome or something, or walking in on him and the people nanny.
And how much work are you actually having to care for this? That's your only job, is the dog. You're not
You're only
a
for the
personal
dog.
assistant. Your one job is feeding the dog, walking the dog, cleaning up after the dog.
Rough.
Yeah, you're taking him to appointments.
You're taking him out, to appointments. You're taking him for walks.
No age of the dog either. It could be a puppy. I would assume it's a puppy if they're doing this. If this is a 8-year-old full-grown dog, you're not putting the call out now. You're doing this early in life. So you're having to raise this dog also. Probably have to kennel train him.
So you're also going with this family wherever they're going because they want to bring their dog with them. So in the story it says they're offered 6 weeks of vacation a year.
Wow.
Which is pretty good. But at any time, if you say you have a vacation coming up and they say they want to go to Monaco tomorrow for 3 days or 4 days,
go see some
you have to
F1
go with them.
That's what that's the drawback, or not a drawback, but their vacation, you're going to Cancun. It's a nonstop vacation.
They're
almost.
probably not going to Cancun.
Oh, somewhere better.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you're right. Yeah, they're going to exotic places.
Think of what we think a nice vacation is.
They're not going on a carnival
1,000
cruise
times
through the Gulf of Mexico.
They're going to
Dollywood
because they found a coupon.
They're going to Turks and Caicos, whatever Turks and Caicos is. I don't know anything about it, but that's where.
Bad point.
They're not going to
That's
Port
where
A.
rich people go. No.
Yeah, I don't think
Port
they're going to go
Charlotte
to
for spring training.
Galveston.
Yeah, they're going to go
taking a nice road trip down to the coast.
They're staying at the flagship.
Go see the Alamo
in Galveston. Yeah, that's not happening.
They might be getting on that submarine though, with all that money.
You're not going to stop and get kolaches. Yeah, you're going to Tahiti or places like that. But to my earlier point, this would be my biggest worry. the position is looking for an applicant who has the ability to handle sensitive information with the utmost discretion and confidentiality.
I'm perfect for it. So you would
your worry?
be able to I
just don't want to see. I mean, billionaires scare me, man. I don't want to get their trade secrets.
You would spill all the tea.
Yeah.
You make a burner account and just
I'd put them on Reddit
everything.
or the show community forum. Mowerman23 is.
Yeah,
I think
putting
I'm
on there again.
I think I'm
He's
suited
going to
for
make
this
the show
job
every day this week, and that's going to upset me.
If I do my job right, yeah.
That's a superpower I have. Is
What's that?
keeping a secret. Dude, I have so much dirt on so many people that you would never be able to get out of me. So much. You have no clue.
Now I'm wondering what you have on me.
I don't have anything on you.
I was going to say, I don't
Yeah,
know.
we don't know if
But
you
if I-
actually.
but
You're
if
just
I
telling us
did-
this. You got to tell us
But if
something.
I did,
you know.
I wouldn't tell anybody.
Yeah. You're right,
Like,
Ty. He does
there's
have a
people-
very hollow claim here.
There are
Yeah.
people that
You know?
love to gossip. They feel like they're getting something out of it by letting secrets go.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's people that have that same feeling knowing something that they keep to themselves. And I have that.
Yeah, I wouldn't do too good in
I would
any kind of hostage or torture situation. If I even saw them turn the faucet on to waterboard me, I would just start unleashing all the secrets.
I'd be out of fingernails and toenails. I'd be
no
got
need,
nothing.
sir. What would you like to know? Here's everything. All right. The other story I have here is right now, according to the Wall Street Journal, there are many businesses across America that are having to offer courses on how to send an email and what to wear in the office for their Gen Z employees.
Okay. What are they currently wearing?
Well,
The Gen Z
basically,
employee.
what they're offering is introductory training to, young people that have never had a professional job, never had to send emails. They went to college through a pandemic.
They start their emails with bruh.
Like,
Bro.
yo. Yeah.
Cap. No cap.
Yeah, which you think is dumb, right? You would think that's dumb. Surely you can send an email. But there's a guy that joined our company recently, straight out of college, and he's like, I've never sent a legitimate professional email before. What do I do?
That's something that's not really taught in schools.
No.
Like when we were in high school, it was kind of new, so that wasn't a thing. College, they never taught us other than making resumes and cover letters and stuff. So you kind of just learn it as you go. So I guess this is hopefully not a huge waste of time, but it is practical to know these types of things, especially for the younger generation that's getting acclimated to the workplace, having to deal with people that are not in your generation.
So it's also not just like, tech-based, I guess, emails tech, but one company's offering training that teaches their new hires how to talk to people in person, tips on the appropriate level of eye contact, where to pause in conversations, and how to conduct yourself during an in-person meeting. That seems a little odder, because that seems like just overall social skills, right?
Still, people need to know that. Maybe at your other job, there's people that just don't know how to shut up. They don't know how to have a conversation with you.
They are offering this for a reason. So these young kids are probably showing up in slides and sweats.
Yep. Yeah.
Interrupting you all the time on their phone in the meeting.
So this company, Protivity, says they've had to remind multiple new hires to not wear blue jeans with holes in them to work.
Okay.
When they're a company that wears, button downs and slacks. But yeah, I mean, you would think even the eye contact thing. I remember my dad telling me when I would go into a job interview, when you're talking to the guy across from you, don't be looking down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't be looking at the pictures on the wall. Look at the person interviewing you. You just think that that's stuff that before you go in there. Once you're in there, you're kind of supposed to know it. But, it probably is good that they're saying, we understand you don't know everything about how to operate in an office environment. Here you go.
It will be pretty funny to watch over the next however long that we're going to become so online that we will forget how to interact with humans. Like these courses will become pretty normal.
Yeah.
Because these generations just grow up on their phone and in chat rooms and not playing with actual people.
And I try to not, fall into the kids these days thing, but you're absolutely right. Like, I know, like a couple of my cousins, nephews, whatever, that are in high school age. If you put them in some kind of professional environment, they would drown.
Yeah, especially
I don't even like being there.
Especially kids in their early 20s right now that graduated from high school during the pandemic online, went to college pretty much the whole time, online learning. So you've stripped away so much social interaction in person.
Mm-hmm.
And then now that they're an adult and they're trying to get a job and they're going into interviews, trying to form business type relationships, that's hard.
Yeah.
That's tough.
And it's costly because if you're not good at that, you could lose this job.
Sure. Because you're still, a lot of times reporting to older people who value that kind of stuff very highly. So you may think it's SG, but the people that are hiring you don't.
Yeah.
And so that's an important thing to remember is it doesn't matter how you feel about something. It's a matter of the people hiring you, how they feel. One thing it says, too, is they're trying to, in these trainings, teach people how to hold authentic conversations.
What is that?
I have no idea.
It's probably just something beyond small talk.
So
I would imagine.
Hey, the Rangers are 6.5 up on Houston now.
Small talk.
Hey, really?
That's small talk. That's the one thing I hate the most about office life is getting on the elevator. Our elevators have the temperature outside, inside the elevator on a little
Why?
screen.
That's terrible because that's all anyone's ever going to talk about.
And one day they're going to find me dangling from the roof of that elevator.
That's a hot one today, isn't it?
And I'm going to be sweating because it was hot outside.
I can take the heat, but I can't take the humidity, man.
And so it's always
supposed to rain this weekend.
Current weather.
They always say
it's current weather or what's going to be happening in 3 days from now.
They said it's supposed to rain every day this week.
And it's a guy on the 14th effing floor. I have to hear about all of it.
There's the middle ground you have to find. Don't do the small talk of weather or gas prices.
It took me
and don't
$60 to fill up.
Way over the top with, family related stuff. That's way too deep for a conversation.
I have done that a couple of times to make my buddies laugh in there. Like if they'll, one time, and I regret doing this. I haven't seen this person since before the pandemic, but someone came in and I was standing there with a couple of buddies and they said, "Hey, how's it going?" And I said,
"Hard.
Better now since my sister's funeral yesterday." I don't have a sister, so who cares? But it was a very quiet 14 floors down after that. That I'm into.
You got what you wanted.
But overall, it's horrible. And yes, it's 90% weather related. And
I saw where the price of eggs got below $3 the other day.
Yeah. Because then that opens up a whole new Pandora's box of political stuff. When I first started going back a little bit was when the supply chain was all clogged up, Canal. And that was a big topic of conversation. I at least welcome that because it was somewhat new. But yeah.
But now we have the submarine we can talk about now, which is pretty dope.
That's true, but I'm here this week. They'll probably be long gone.
Well, yeah,
by the time I go back to the office,
or it could still be missing. It'll be even more interesting.
All right,
man. It's been 10 days since that thing went missing.
I guess we'll have to
Where
put
do you
a pin
think
in
it
it
is?
We'll put a pin in it. Circle back.
Let's do that.
All right, up next, the 1:30 news.
More.
All right, let's start with a...
Horse.
Thank you, EA. You hear this a lot, right?
Horse.
Crime of passion.
Is that something you want to put on your list of things you want to do?
No.
Yeah, usually pretty bad.
Yeah, that means...
You don't jaywalk.
What if it's
passion?
just a little...
Right.
What if it's just a little criminal mischief of passion?
Passion? I'm still going to say no, because typically it involves murder, right? As it does here, as a North Texas man has been sentenced to life in prison after shooting and killing his girlfriend, who he shot 10 times.
Excessive.
Passionately.
He's just screaming, real loud.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's passionate.
After 2 or 3 shots, that's just overkill.
Yeah, I think don't know, after one, anything after that, I don't know. It's hard to get into that mind space, but I did think of what on earth could have caused this and how petty it could have been.
Toilet seat left down.
Yeah.
Or,
as a wise man once said, it builds up, dude.
As we're contemplating reasons we murder our wife, apparently, I'd be pretty mad if I left my game on and she sold my Mauer card. That made me pretty upset.
You already brought him up today.
I'm covered
you need
for
to
tomorrow.
save this.
You're not doing the story tomorrow. You should have saved it.
So you would shoot your girlfriend over Joe Mauer?
No.
I love you,
No.
baby,
Video
but
games.
I love Joe Mauer.
Then I'm back at square one.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Not on the game. I'm talking about in relationship.
Oh, okay. I thought
kind of have to hit the reset button.
I could
either
buy
way.
another Mauer.
You're back to Elvis Andrews.
Yeah, how many
at
stubs is
shortstop.
that?
Yeah. I'm talking about my love life. Start over. The
Yeah.
long road back.
19-year-old life in prison. Shooting girlfriend 10 times. Crime of passion, indeed.
We just need good husbands with guns.
Okay.
And I guess in this case it'd be good wives, right?
Or good crimes of passion.
Yes.
Yeah, you need good wives with guns.
Yeah. I'm going to go park illegally later with passion. I'd be really into it.
Let's see. Another thing we used to hear from our youth a lot, or at least I did, and I didn't quite know what it was pistol whipped. That always confused me for a long time.
Yeah, you hit B. And they do
Why?
that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, police have arrested a suspect they believe pistol whipped a man on a DART train last week.
Well, at least he didn't shoot him, right? You know?
And apparently,
Way to look at the positive side.
He didn't pull the
He's
trigger.
always
He
doing
just
that.
hit him with it.
Eternal
It
optimist.
wasn't passionate.
Turn that frown upside down.
He wasn't too fired up about it, but he wanted to get him out of his way.
Jason Kidd said nobody died.
And apparently this is happening, well, not pistol whipping specifically, but DART is seeing an increase in robberies, sexual assaults, and aggravated assaults on trains this year. There have been 120 cases of this so far this year, and there were just 220 last year. So, violence on the way up on the DART train.
Yeah, my mom rode the DART train a few weeks ago, and I wasn't too excited about that, knowing that it sounds like it's turning more and more into a questionable place.
I haven't taken it in a while, but I've never encountered anything even a little sketchy on it.
You haven't been pistol whipped?
No, taking it to Mavs games goes right up here to Victory Park. I think that's a
different time, though.
I think it's way underutilized for big events like this.
Yeah, but I think when you're going for a big reason like that, it's packed with Mavs fans or whatever. But your everyday traffic, God knows who's on there.
It's really convenient.
Yeah.
The Halo tournament I went to at the K. Bailey Hutchinson Center, it was very easy. Just drop you off right there.
Bingo.
You don't have to worry about parking. I don't bring that up all that much.
K. Bailey Hutchinson?
I think you meant the Halo.
Oh. Yeah. But yeah, watch your back.
Yeah, I mean, no one probably messed with you because you were dressed fully like Master Chief.
I mean, yeah.
They were kind of worried about you.
Yeah, I had the Halo 1 pistol, so you're not going to mess with me.
Yeah, you had your Needler.
Yeah.
With violence aside, I wonder how many people actually use DART public transportation every day in the Metroplex. Because I don't know anyone that does. I technically could, because the train comes right up here and there's a station within walking distance of where I live, so I could take it. But maybe it's just out of routine that I don't. But it would be it's very convenient. I think more people should use it.
There are people that take it to my office building because it lets out right by my office.
Yeah, I used to take it to school, and there was a lot of people on there in the morning.
Bad weather days, it's great to use to get up here.
I'm seeing on a daily basis more than 220,000 passengers per day on all of the things. Trains, buses.
That sounds kind of low.
Really? That sounded really high.
Compared to how many people are on the highway. And maybe just compared to other big cities, Dallas has to be pretty low. If you go to Boston or obviously New York.
Rockwall
with
Rart.
There.
Yeah, Rart.
Fort Worth.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a good
TRE.
one. Yeah, Forney.
Fort Worth doesn't have the fart. It's the only reason they don't have the Fort Worth area rapid transit.
We have the money. We have the infrastructure. We just can't
we'll
deal
call
with
it the TRE.
We don't need the humiliation.
We can't do it. Sorry,
right.
people. You got to drive.
One more story here in the 1:30 news. I'm sensing a pattern of just kind of childish things in the 1:30 news as I'm hosting it. Arlington police arrest 48-year-old man for allegedly shining a laser pointer at a helicopter pilot.
Was it Jaw? It was a Jaw thing, wasn't it? Didn't John Morant do that?
Really?
He shined a laser pointer at the jazz bus.
Their bus, yeah.
Oh.
Thinking it was like a sniper rifle or something.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was John Morant, but Arlington police requested Air One assistance from Fort Worth police. They were trying to locate a stolen vehicle, and as the helicopter was assisting, the pilot reported someone was shining a laser in his face.
It'll blind you.
Yeah, I think
that's what we were told.
What it looks like inside the cockpits, and it's like it fills up the whole thing. It's not just a single dot. Especially they do it to airplanes and stuff.
There was a time when that was a huge thing, right? And it kind of has gone away.
When we were in high school, there were kids that would bring laser pointers to school. I guess that was a thing for a little bit, was the laser pointer. And every teacher would say, don't bring those out. They're illegal.
You'll burn their cornea off.
Right. Which I still believe to this day. I'm not going to do the research, but yeah. Remember my parents telling me that, the principals, the coaches, if you shine that in their eye, they're going to go blind.
Right.
Damn it, Mino, put your laser away.
They were more strict about that than guns when we were in high school.
Why'd you have a laser pointer with your football coach? Were you running throw routes with it?
Well, when they were watching film, they'd have the laser pointer to show up on the screen. Mino, don't do this.
I do remember the power you felt holding the laser.
Dude, they were so cool.
What power? I mean, I use it now to play with my cat.
Yeah, it's fun.
It doesn't have a whole lot of power.
I think
power over the cat.
And I think just the name of it, calling it a laser sounds awesome. If it was just a light, if you just call it a red neon light or something.
Light pointer.
Well, if it was an actual laser, that you
it was a kid. We're like, oh, it's a laser.
Gymnastics to get through to get to the bank vault, but not those.
It's an actual laser.
In the final,
burn something with it.
The final note from this story, and maybe this leads to a bigger research project, because sometimes when people get charged with something pretty obscure, the name of the charge is pretty funny to me. Okay. Because it's just very specific, and I had I've heard of assault, I've heard of robbery. Yeah, we've all heard
crimes
of these
of passion.
Yeah.
Have you heard of this, though? He was charged with one count of interfering with public duties and illuminating aircraft with a laser pointer, impairing operator.
That's an actual charge.
That's what he got charged with.
It happens enough to where they actually have something.
What are you in for?
Illuminating aircraft with a laser pointer, impairing operator.
Is that
I'm here for murder.
Misdemeanor or?
Yes.
It's
high
ham.
Yeah. There's your 1:30 news.
Yay! Remembering the great times of Norm. And a lot of these times are at his expense. This one, not so much at his expense, but they are to everyone else around him and maybe the listener as well.
I mean, kind of his expense because he gets jumped on.
That's true. Yeah, the first clip will definitely be Norm got in trouble a little bit. So we all know that Norm has an old style of phone. He doesn't have a smartphone, not an iPhone or Android. He has the old flip phone that was popular in the late 90s, maybe early 2000s, before every single person has a smartphone. He's the last person standing that still flips his phone to open it and pushes the button.
Which would be fun for like one time.
Yeah.
For nostalgia's sake. And then, all right, how do I get on Twitter from here?
But he's dug in. And this was probably 2016 or 2017. And we start with White Elephant Day of that year. Norm was hosting with George in the afternoon. I happened to be off that day. I took that week off, so I got to enjoy White Elephant Day just listening.
Like a civvy.
Yes,
yeah.
just as a P1. Just enjoying it. And it was early in the show. It might have been Why Today Doesn't Suck or something. And Norm's phone goes off. It's loud. Well, I'll get to it in a minute. But yeah, it goes off. It's loud. Dan notices it. They jump on him, and he silences his phone. It goes off again. A few minutes later, same thing. And Norm says that he finally silenced it, or he turned it off, or he didn't know how to. And at that time, I'm just sitting at home, and I'm laughing my ass off. I think it's hilarious that Dan is getting this upset with Norm. And I think he's genuinely pissed off about it.
Yeah. He seemed like it.
I'm sitting there and I'm saying, okay, I've got Norm's phone number. I'm not there at the station. I want to have a little fun. So this is probably in the 5 o'clock hour with George, Norm, and Dan. And they're talking to Stars head coach Ken Hitchcock. Now, Norm's phone, if you call it, he doesn't have numbers saved. So if you were to call Norm, it wouldn't say Justin Montemayor. It would just say your phone number. And unless he has the number memorized, he has no idea who's calling. So he still has his phone on. They're talking to Ken Hitchcock. I call, and we get this infamous drop.
Haven't seen you in some time. I mean, I've seen you, but, me and you interact. Speaking along those lines, I always feel like the body... Norm, shut your phone off! Norm's phone has been ringing all day, and what do you do after like the 7th time, Coach? What would you do, like if Sagan's phone is going off in a meeting? Okay,
well, that's the toilet needs a good workout.
So,
I think Dan was really upset about that.
Yeah,
and that I only called the one time. The rest were probably other coworkers calling. Ham might have been involved. I don't know, but it was at least 4 or 5 times that day. And I think it went on a couple more times after that.
And the more it happened, the more reaction it got from the rest of the crew, the more you wanted to do it.
Yeah, and after that time when Dan yelled, I was like, okay, I think that's...
Norm, shut your phone off!
I think that's the pinnacle of the bit. I think that's good. I think I might have taken it too far.
I've luckily never been at the receiving end of a Dan yell, but they are great to hear.
Oh, yeah. Especially if there's an F-bomb involved.
Stop playing that drop!
Or he did to Ty. He said, leave your GD mic on. Unhinged Dan's great.
Oh, my gosh.
Shut up!
It's like a bat flip. It's like he hits a no-doubter home run, and he just watches it sail. And his expression is, yeah, I did that.
He's like a Bugatti. He just goes from 0 to that in like 2.8 seconds.
And,
whoa!
And it works.
It hits.
But it works.
Yep.
The point is landed.
And luckily, Norm never had his phone on again after that.
Well, that was White Elephant Day. I felt bad in the moment. Maybe I shouldn't have done it. But a few days later, as Dry Dock is hitting the ticket...
So you didn't feel that bad in the moment?
Norm is still hosting 10 to noon, and he's having Mike Doocy fill in as his co-host. Great chemistry together. I'm producing that day for some reason. I guess Killer was out sick or something, and they called me in last minute to produce, answer some calls for Normathon, which was coming up.
Don't sell yourself short. You're not the Killer fill-in.
Killer was the fill-in. I was the fill-in for Killer, so I was like third string that day.
Okay.
And I was talking to TC that morning about the e-break with Dan.
Yeah.
And we're like, let's try it again. Let's do it once more. Maybe one more time would be funny. And this was the opening segment. Norm's setting up auction items for Normathon with Doocy.
The charity, right? The Normathon, the charity?
Yes.
Okay. Just making sure.
And you can hear his phone ring.
And literally, you can take a long weekend here. You're not asking to take your week's vacation or anything. You can take a long weekend as my phone rings, which I'll have to pick up later. Here we are.
That's not me.
Conspicuous ringtone you got there, Norm.
And it's good.
Make the dead with that thing.
It's good any time. Listen to this. It's good any time from March of 2018 through June of 2019.
So he powers on like a professional.
Somehow his ringtone does make it funnier.
Yeah, it's very generic.
And
Yeah.
And if you've heard his ringtone go off over the past few months, it's the same one.
It'll never
and it's
change.
the same phone.
Yeah.
Same volume. I'm sure his phone can be turned to silent. He doesn't know how to do it, which makes it even funnier.
I mean, he's been showed maybe 1 million times.
Yeah.
It's done click.
So that was, you might ask yourself, oh, that was one time, that was funny. They probably stopped. No, we didn't. We probably should have kept it at 1. I will raise my hand and call my foul that I did it the first time. So just moments later in the same segment, the same opening segment, TC thought it was hilarious, and he decides to have a little fun.
To bid on the fishing trip to Mexico. Okay.
Somebody
wants to reach me.
Norm's a popular guy.
Okay, there we go.
Somebody take Norm's phone and put it on silent for him, will you?
We're gonna. Okay, yeah.
Figure that out here. Here we go.
Let me take us to where you're going to start with Cowboy football.
I feel pretty bad about that as he's trying to set up auction items for, charity.
Yeah.
And we're just trying to shoot his wheels off in the control room.
You're working with him that day.
Yeah.
You should be manning the phones, taking in bids and...
Look, it was a long time ago.
Raise more money for the homeless.
I was only like 30. I was very childish.
And his response is, instead of turning his phone off, he just assumes people know what the hell he does for a living.
Mm-hmm.
This will stop ringing in about 30 seconds. Just give it some time. So that was in the opening segment. They go to break. They come back, and they're talking Cowboys football. And they're talking about the running back situation with the Cowboys.
Alfred Morris took over for Zeke in the role of lead back here.
Mm-hmm.
I've got to turn that off.
Norm, shut your phone off!
I know. I'm going to turn over. Okay, here we are. Here we go.
Okay.
That's it.
So we go back to 1997 with Norm's phone. There we go.
There we go.
Right, now off.
Speaking of pace.
The gallery loved it.
Yeah.
This is all within 10 minutes of each other. It's all going off on the air, and he's having to look at his phone, silence it, turn it off.
At some point, someone there should have been like, give me that thing. I'll figure it out for you.
No, it's too funny.
And as producer that
probably
day,
the right
I
call,
probably
yeah.
should have put a stop to it.
But you weren't out there with him. I'm saying someone on site.
Oh, yeah. Just
if they were willing to look out for Norm.
Hand Tony his
handed
phone, go put it in his car. Just keep it far away from me.
Or what did Hitchcock say?
Put it in the toilet.
Down the toilet.
There's toilets for a reason. But, so we did it 3 times, and I said, okay, you know what?
You and TC
Let's take
just
this,
laughing.
Let's take this to the next level. We called his phone, just a cold call. That's whatever, funny a couple times. It gets old. So there was an app that Justin and I used to have a lot of fun with where you would put 2 phone numbers in it. It would have the 2 people call each other. So if I were to put in Ty Walker's phone number is number 1, Blake Jones's number is number 2, they both get phone calls at the exact same time.
Okay, pick a realistic one because Blake's not answering that.
And
yeah, I would answer Ty's phone call.
They would say, okay, who's calling? They both answer the phone at the same time.
Hello?
And
Hello?
Hello? What?
Hello?
Well, what do you
Yeah.
want?
Nothing, man. You called me.
Yeah, what's up? No, and it's hilarious, and it records the call.
It's so 2010.
I don't know how it does it. I don't know how they had the technology to do this.
Was probably really
Technology
illegal
and stuff.
But I remember you and
we were
I
hearing private phone conversations just on the computer. But don't worry about it.
You and I would do podcasts where we would be in a production room for hours just getting everybody with it. We got everyone at the station.
Because it was free.
We got friends. We would get businesses to call each other. And
we had a couple of gentlemen's clubs call each other. That was great.
Fast food restaurants. It was, and you'd probably get about a 20 to 30% hit rate where they would actually pick up. But it was hilarious. We got Cray Tray and Killer a few times, and that was great. And we'd do that over and over.
Hey, how's it going? I'm Killer.
So I said, okay, how about we do this with Norm and Doocy during the show while they're on the air together.
Because at the very least, it'll show up on their phone. Norm's calling me or Doocy's calling me.
Yeah, and they're like, "Okay, what are you?
Why are you
doing?
calling me right now? You're
I'm
messing
not.
with me."
You're calling me." So we pulled this off with Norm and Doocy.
Holy cow, Deuce! They have announced a gigantic. That's Doocy. That's gotta be Doocy.
Norm, shut your phone off!
You called me.
No,
You accidentally called me there.
You
Yes, you
called
did. No, I
me.
didn't.
No, I can't call you. That Deuce called me.
Yes. I didn't mean
I'm being
to.
pranked on the air by my
I don't know how that
co-host.
happened.
I mean, I know
honest to God don't.
Oh, yeah.
My phone's just sitting here next to me.
Yeah, then you know less about technology than I do.
That's entirely possible.
A third
What are you two
party's
guys
connected
doing?
our two phones.
They may have. That's the scary part. Tony?
Tony? Oh, yeah.
Anyway, back to the Hamels and their
Yes.
amazing
To the
amazing
Hamels.
kindness.
Yeah, I did.
Doocy
it.
just
It was
thinks,
me.
what is Doocy thinking the whole time? He's clearly, I'm not calling you.
No,
and they
but yeah,
blame
he thinks
Tony.
Norm's phone.
Like they think Tony is the remote engineer, so he can just like hack into their phones and make them call each other. Oh my gosh, fun times.
And you were never asked to produce Norm again. After
No,
that.
that was probably the last time.
Pretty
That was
sorry.
probably. I don't think Sean would do that now. I think he
No.
would just be. He'd be nice to him.
We need to
But-
replay some of the other ones we did at some point. The ones we did way back when.
Oh my gosh, yeah, we have a ton of them. The front desk and the control room. That was there's a lot of moving pieces that had to go on for that to work. I had to leave the control room and make sure it was only whatever producer was in there at the time, and it was we got everybody.
Killer
Maybe
and
we can
Trey
do that.
was the best.
Yes,
'Cause we did them like 4 times in a row, and they like reset their brain every time and forgot.
We'll have to. Maybe we can revisit that later in the week.
Once again, the Hang Zone presents Why Today Doesn't Suck.
All I want for my birthday is a big booty hoe. All I want for my birthday is a big booty hoe.
And now, here are your hosts, Jay Kemp and Dan McDowell.
Thank you, Justin.
Thank you, Justin. We are so on time. 2:56. Here is Rumaham.
Thank you, Mino. Eatsy's Market and Bakery brings you Justin Mauermayor.
I like that one. Thanks, Ham.
What does the obsession with you and Joe Mauer start?
I don't know. It's just that he's the new card in the show, and I think I may have mentioned him to Blake off air.
He's your flavor of the week baseball player.
And now all of a sudden, yeah, he's my bingo.
Yeah, he texted me, dude, I pulled a Joe Mauer.
Are we late?
Yeah, don't call me anymore.
So late.
We're just on time.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're doing
We
what's
are
called
on the air, though.
respecting the clock.
Who's your flavor of the week? Thank you, Justin.
Joe Mauer.
Love Joe Mauer.
It's a weird flavor to pull from.
Yeah, I'm going retro.
Okay.
Retro,
Hoping
like
the Rangers can
10
pull a
years
trade
ago.
for him.
Hall of Famer?
I don't know, man. Maybe. Sure.
I say no.
In my heart.
787-1310.
Hear more of that today on the Hard Line.
All right, today is Tuesday, June 20th, the 171st day of 2023.
David Mino.
There are 194 days left in this year of our Lord. On this date in 1782, this is going to be boring, Congress approved the Great Seal of the United States, featuring the emblem of the bald eagle. And then they ate that eagle. The flash that they took to take the photo killed the eagle, and they ate it.
They had to hold it still for 30 minutes.
Right. It says don't move.
Hold it. Oh, there
Take it again.
Damn it.
In 1893, a jury in New Bedford, Massachusetts found Lizzie Borden unguilty of the axe murders of her father and stepmother. But she never really lived that down thanks to the poem that we still learn as children. Interesting.
Yeah, she should have sued for defamation.
Do your kids know
No way, right?
the Lizzie Borden poem?
Was it 30 whacks?
Lizzie Borden
40.
took an axe, gave her mother 40 whacks. When she saw what she had done, she gave her father 41, or it's mother-father.
Nailed it. And then she was found not guilty.
Yeah, I mean,
Where is
the
this
poem really sounded like she did it, though.
Where is this being taught in schools, and where can we burn those books?
Yeah, I'd never heard that one.
Are you serious? Did we? I mean, you knew it.
Just because I was interested in axe murders and things of that nature.
But I mean, it was just around.
I don't think it was taught publicly in school.
No. I'm just saying it was just something that we learned in the schoolyard. I feel like. Did you know that?
They were too busy teaching us
I obviously
about,
had forgotten it, but I remember knowing it at some point.
It was in transgender class.
We learned it sometime before Rod Stewart's.
Right.
Yeah.
I think the order was Lizzie Borden, Rod Stewart, and then we learned how to shoot Bud Light cans.
And
in that order.
Mikey died from Pop Rock.
But not at Target.
Never.
Yeah, I guess I was too busy trying to get people to spell iCup or stuff like that.
Y'all were lame.
Yeah, we were lame, bro.
And how to make the calculator say boobless.
Right. Turn it upside down. Look, dude.
Yeah, boobs was the first one, but then when you can put boobless.
It's probably better than the real thing, bro. Look.
In 1901.
Also boring.
Starting on this day until August 9th, 1906, Jack Taylor pitched 188 consecutive complete games.
What? There's no way.
And yet, we recognize this stuff. Like, we treat this like it's gospel.
A lot of baseball.
Do you think it was boring down the bullpen?
He pitched a total of 1,727 innings without relief.
They kept warming up the donkey, and he'd sit back down.
They just had a book club down there.
Speaking of book club, in 2006 on this date, Dwayne Wade poured in 36 points and hit 4 key free throws, shocker, with under 30 seconds remaining to lead the Miami Heat to their first NBA championship with a 95-92 win over another team in Game 6 of the NBA Finals at the American Airlines Center in a certain city.
I don't think there was ever a game I was more sure that we were screwed
than that one.
Yeah, and that's what's weird about it is I don't remember any details of that game except being there. And
you thought Game 6 was worse than Game 3? Or
Game 6, it just felt like the series was already over. There was no belief to be found. Dwayne Wade.
How old were you?
We were about to be seniors in high school.
Oh,
I cried.
God. Oh, yeah.
I was 17 and cried.
Yeah.
My dad had tickets to Game 7. So we had the captain had tickets to Game 2 and Game 7.
Like it was such chaos.
Don't even need them.
Like Avery looked so disheveled and right.
You mean like going into Game 6 or during it?
No, going into Game 6. Like the time heading into Game 6 and then Game 6 itself, it was just like, okay, well, it's been a good run.
Going into Game 3, we were feeling great. It was 2-0.
It was, definitely was. And, with a few minutes to go in Game 3, it felt really good.
They were up 13 in the fourth quarter.
Then it felt ungood.
It definitely felt ungood.
Really
in 1999 on this date.
Was great, though.
It was.
Made it all better.
In 1999 on this date, Bob, jerk, Payne Stewart made a 15-foot par putt on the 18th hole at Pinehurst, number 2, to win by 1 stroke over Phil Mickelson. When he told him, Phil, don't worry about it, you'll get one someday, and then told him fatherhood is a lot more fun than winning the U.S. Open.
And then he jumped on a plane.
What time's my plane flight?
Why are y'all doing that to Kubi?
Do you think Phil secretly would tell you that fatherhood is more fun than winning a U.S. Open, which is he's finished second 6 times?
Yes, but not more fun than live.
It's true.
Didn't he leave a golf tournament for some kid thing?
Stewart was 1 stroke behind with 3 holes to play. I think he had a beeper on.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I mean, at that point, it was his daughter was getting ready to be born. And he was wearing a beeper in case it went off. Like if what's-her-butt went into labor, he had to leave. In that tournament, Payne was 1 stroke behind with 3 holes to play. He made a 25-foot putt for par to catch Mickelson, a 3-foot birdie putt on 17 to take the lead, and then a 20-footer to win it on 18. That's pretty badass.
You should make a statue.
So do you think Phil had the Saudis sabotage the door seal?
He was already in tight with the Saudis. Weddings on this date. In 1987, Johnny Carson married Alexis Moss. He's 62. She?
15.
34.
Over.
She was 7. She was 35.
In 2017, won most epic ass.
Oh, I didn't dare go single digits, but then you did it.
And why is everybody laughing? 7.
Yanks are out of third grade.
Dear Why Today Doesn't Suck. Today is my...
Really is fun.
He's drawing hand turkeys with her.
Today is my... Thanksgiving's huge for him. Today is my P1 brother Scott 39th birthday. His leaders are
Doesn't have a sister.
Bjork,
Bork.
Ty,
Bork.
just
Gorse.
like you, Krista McAuliffe,
Gorse.
and the Rager Dykes Auto Group.
Gorse, of course.
Is he still in prison? Bart Rager?
I don't know, but I see videos of him pop up randomly, and they get me pumped up.
Why?
They're like
The Beast
his
Feast.
sales calls, yeah.
He would like to hear a moment of silence for the Titanic submarine. That's from Spencer and Wacko.
We're holding out hope that they're
Dan,
gonna make it.
please wish Frank Salazar a happy 60th birthday. His leaders are Jake's Fishy Patio Furniture and Tiger Cub. He would love to hear a Jub Monkey drop. That's from Ian.
We don't know that she had any problems down there.
Or Ian. Hi, Dan. I wanted to wish my brother Tanner Ray a happy 30th birthday. The ticket has been a lot to us from when we were kids to now as 30-year-olds. We still have our daily ticket texts. Y'all are the best.
Aww.
The leaders are Afternoon Jub, DJ's lack of scene control, and Jake's buffet table. Drop requests. Maybe don't let him eat the napkin. And, well, I didn't ask you, bitch.
All right, well, I didn't ask you, bitch.
And a big thank you to Norm for all that he's done. That's from Colton.
Cry your way to the loser dome.
Or Colton.
Are y'all all okay
Colton.
with the way Jacob dresses his family like that? I think
All right,
it's
well, I
pretty
didn't
rude.
ask you, bitch.
You know.
Oh,
A
man.
broken household.
Former
back to the
Aggie
kids.
Dave Elmendorf is 74.
Dave.
Color commentator as well.
I don't think they call him that anymore,
I
Bob.
think he commentated on golf a lot.
He was Dave South's partner.
No, I think Dave South got married to Dave Elmendorf and took his name, and now he never.
That's weird.
He became
Okay.
the mouth of the South.
Yeah. Former Ranger Carlos Lee is
As opposed to
47.
the South Mouth.
Yep.
Carlos Lee,
Ooh.
the Nelson Cruz
The Nelson
trade.
Cruz trade, sure.
Kevin Minch.
Julie LeVar
Francisco
Arrington
Cordero.
is
Right.
45.
And Lance Nix.
Lance Leaks.
Who I always feared would one day swoop in and steal my misses.
Do.
Lance Nix.
I mean, what would you be able to do about it?
Carlos
LeVar
Lee,
Arrington.
Kevin Minch.
LeVar Arrington.
LeVar Arrington, who kind of retired Troy Aikman at Texas Stadium, didn't he?
He did.
What about LeVar Burton?
From Roots.
From Ritz?
I don't think I'm quite as scared as him. Of him.
What was his PBS joint?
Yeah, well, they could
Reading
be
Rainbow.
Rainbow, yeah.
The great
Libs.
Ty.
Yeah.
Darren Sproles is 40.
Oh, the great Darren Sproles. K-State great. Damn right.
Terrell Pryor is 34.
Is he better than Colin Klein?
K-State great.
Ty?
NFL, yes.
K-State great.
College,
Deuce Vaughn or Darren Sproles?
Colin
88,
finished, I believe,
77.
second or third in the Heisman.
K-State great.
Joe Mauer.
Golfer
Just wanna say
Trip
his name
Keeney is 51. Did Trip, is he the one that got beat by Tiger in the USAM?
That was Kelly Keeney.
No, it wasn't Kelly Keeney. Darko Milicic is 38.
Whoa, hey.
Second overall.
Wow, James Tolkien is 92. He is that bald principal from Back to the Future.
Wrote The Hobbit.
That's not him.
That's J-R-R-R-R-R-R.
Instead of word, all second.
Tolkien.
Brian Wilson from the Beach Boys is 81. How did he make it to 81?
Legend.
Happy birthday.
Actor Chelsea Ross is 81 from Major League. Who's that?
Is that the guy in the dog line?
She
No.
was in Major League. I think she was the
Donovan, what are
owner.
you doing here?
Chelsea? Is that the girl that they took the...
I'm seeing
No,
Chelsea
he's like
Ross
a
is
manager.
yeah, he's a guy.
Or no, he was like the veteran pitcher. He looked like he was 50.
He was Charlie Huff, basically.
Ross.
Yeah. He was
Yeah.
Jamie
Oh,
He
he
put all the
was-
stuff on the
like
ball.
Preacher.
He
Yeah,
was
he was
mocking Joe
Eddie
Boo.
Harris.
Yeah, he was.
A little jalapeno in my
stapled to his
nose.
face.
Wait, he's how old?
81.
He looked 81 in the movie.
He did.
He very much did.
TV personality Bob Vila is 77.
This old house.
Do you think Chelsea Ross would have been intimidated by like Ben Joyce now? Throwing 102, 80 times
Doesn't
in a
throw
row?
inside.
Lionel Richie, oft mentioned on the U.S. Open broadcast, is 74 with his house on number 3 or whatever.
Is
And
he
they won't
still
let him be a
chasing that
member.
blind girl around?
He stays young by having sex all the time.
That's right.
They won't let him be a member.
The great John Goodman is 71.
Explains
He
the
lost
Open.
200 pounds.
Family Guy didn't do him too well, though. Do you remember that sketch?
No.
Did you guys see the pictures? He's lost 200 pounds.
Well, you don't have to see the pictures. He's on Righteous Gemstones, so you get to see him actually as a
Well,
human.
I've seen some pictures where he's lost 200 pounds.
In Family Guy, Corby,
I
he
think
won't
he
let
was
his
on
family
soda.
eat.
Oh,
like he's just eating all the food, and they're all off to the side, real skinny, begging Dad for one piece of morsel, and he says no.
Poor John.
He's just inhaling all their food.
Great actor. Michael Anthony is 69 from Van Halen.
Yes, the Jack Daniels bass guitar.
John Taylor from Duran Duran, Bob, is 63.
And the 49ers. Very versatile player.
Did you just see him play?
It's like the
And the
Ohtani
Colts.
of his office.
Don't forget the Colts either.
The great Nicole Kidman is 56, except for her little dalliance with Tom Cruise. Tiny
Batman
Tom
Forever.
Cruise.
Doesn't she have weird hands?
She has weird clap.
Yeah. Well, just the hands in general.
Dave, do you
Weird.
believe John Taylor was the first member of Duran Duran to win a Super Bowl MVP?
Look at her weird hands, David.
I believe he is.
I don't know. Roger
That's
Taylor, I
weird.
think, was on the team.
Double
before
bring
that.
it back to
She's
sports.
got like Grinch hands.
As long as she can back as opposable thumb.
Mickey Mantle wouldn't like her.
Actor-
Hands are too big.
Neither would Joe.
Actor John Glaser from Parks and Rec is 55.
I think Nick Rhodes kicked for the Packers when they won.
Was that a drop?
It will be.
Let's see. Actor Dreama Walker is 37 from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and Gossip Girl. Do not know.
No idea.
Actor Christopher Mintz-Plasse McLovin is 34. So how old was he in his license?
What name?
26, right?
Is he, yeah.
Or 25. He was
22,
older.
25.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah,
every
'cause-
fake ID says you're 21.
You sounded like the yeah right there.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, good. Use
Born
mine.
on this day now dead, the Negro League great Cum Posey.
Whoa.
You just got to get it. You got to rip the Band-Aid off.
Excuse me?
Shot.
You want Posey to do what?
The only man that smoked a cigarette and drank a Fresca at halftime of the Super Bowl that we know of, Lynn Dawson, born on this day now dead. John Mahoney, the dad in Frasier, and the dad in Say Anything. America's Dad.
America's Dad.
He cried in the bathtub.
Dead on this day, still dead. Oh, man. The great Bugsy Siegel, who created casinos in Las Vegas
Meh.
in 1947.
those are
He was
gonna last,
41.
Yeah, he's probably a good dude.
Did his
Those are
sports
gonna
book
peter
have a
out.
swim-up bar?
No, did not.
He was the founder of Murder, Inc.
Howard Johnson, the restaurant founder, dead on this day, still dead.
Matt.
Howard Johnson is right about Howard Johnson being right.
Oh, no, Jake. Now we get everything.
Mm-hmm.
In 2011, today is the day we lost Ryan Dunn, the Jackass star killed in a, quote, fiery car crash.
They're still looking for the Hot Wheels.
Where they dared him to drive in a fiery car.
With a Hot Wheel up his butt.
Yeah.
Right. the
Also
crash.
on fire.
Mm-hmm.
Everything he
able to
did
do it if it-
involved the Hot
He
Wheels.
had
there.
a clear butt.
In 2015, we lost Jack Kilby. He invented the handheld calculator, which is now a phone, loser.
Was Ryan Party
And
Boy?
you were able to play.
No, that was Pontius.
Pontius, Chris
Hardy
Pontius.
Boy's still alive.
Yep. He was a wild boy.
Thank goodness.
And in
He likes to
2017,
show his
Dave.
weenie a lot. Does Pontius?
No way.
Yeah.
No, this doesn't make as much sense as I thought it did, Dave. This is not to you. This is to Monty. Prodigy, the rapper.
Ooh.
Dead.
Yeah.
Was it rap?
Yeah.
He's the fire starter.
Mobb Deep.
And that will do it.
Wait a minute. 5, 4.
So Payne Stewart and the Mavericks losing were only 6 years apart.
And you're done.
Who'd have thought?
Shut it down!
Did Payne Stewart win the day after the Stars won?
Yes.
I'm the fire starter.
No wonder I don't remember much of it. I was so wasted.
From the TXU.
YouTube.com/@SportsGreek.
And here he is.
Thank you. Yeah, we finally got him. We didn't get him for his laptop, but we did get Hunter Biden on an illegal possession of a handgun and failing to file and pay taxes on time.
Is this like getting, what was the mobster that they
Al
got
Capone.
Yeah, for tax evasion?
Yeah.
Don't forget El Capone.
I blanked out.
This is important, Corby.
I know.
Johnny Pants.
Yes. So Hunter has admitted that he possessed a Colt Cobra revolver in Delaware in October of 2018 while knowing that he was an unlawful drug user.
Case closed.
If I tell you what gives me a headache, hearing the two words Hunter and Biden.
Right. So the deal is contingent that he stays off drugs for 24 months and never owns a firearm again.
What's his drug thing? I don't know. I know nothing about him.
I don't know what his flavor is. Did he like cocaine? Heroin?
Yeah, I'm just finding out he really exists.
Yeah.
He could walk in here right now.
I don't even know what he looks like. No idea. Nothing.
His attorney says Hunter believes it is important to take responsibility for these mistakes he made during a period of turmoil and addiction in his life. He looks forward to continuing his recovery and moving forward. Meanwhile, the White House says the president and first lady love their son and support him as he continues to rebuild his life.
Yeah. What a hot opinion from the White House.
Right?
Oh, my God. No way.
No
way.
Guess we won't hear any more about the laptop now.
Love my son.
They got him.
We have a bit of follow-up on the Meghan Markle, Prince Harry, that they are effing grifters.
Yeah, that was Bill Simmons' words in his own podcast, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And so there's a story that's out today that someone close to the production company,
generic,
that they said that some of the show's interviews for, because they only did 12 episodes of their Archetypes podcast in 2.5 years when they signed for $20 million.
Right.
They're not going to get all that money. And so they did just 12 episodes, and according to somebody that worked with them, that some of the show's interviews were done by producers, and then audio of Meghan Markle was dubbed in later. That she didn't actually do the interviews. They just had her record the questions that a producer asked.
Oh, my gosh.
And then stitched it together.
That's kind of awesome.
Yeah.
Boy,
so,
they did grift.
Yeah.
That's hardcore.
That's like the least amount of effort you can possibly give.
I mean, she walks into the studio, they give her a sheet of paper with questions, she reads them and leaves.
Yeah.
In 10 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
There, I just did an interview.
For $20 million or whatever.
I just interviewed Yasser Arafat. Where's my Pulitzer?
God, man. And are they, again, I know about as much about them as I do Hunter Biden.
Right.
Are they completely cut off? Like they have no money coming in from the royals anymore?
I think when they left England, I think that was the deal.
Or is it like...
That's why they signed a production deal with Netflix and with Spotify, because they needed some kind of income stream.
Is it going to pay for Starbucks?
Well, is it like mom and dad of... the kid does something wrong and dad's like, that's it. I'm cutting him off. Like, whatever. He's in college. Go get a job. Find your own money. I'm not giving you another nickel.
I'm turning off the trust fund.
And the wife is like, all right, you know what? You're right. And then 20 minutes later, she's calling the son going, I'm going to slip you like $100 just to get you through the next couple days.
Oh, God love you.
Yeah, could you hit the account? I need a little gas, please.
Yeah. Oh, baby. Okay, we'll get you. This is it, though. Your father and I agreed that this is the last time you do
And can
it.
we keep on?
Meanwhile, the dad's
don't
like,
ask me
not
again."
another nickel.
Can we stay on the family plan?
Just milk
for
money.
the phones.
Yeah, right? All right, it's the
Come
phone.
over for dinner, whatever.
It's food.
Can we keep our royal phones?
It's
Car insurance.
rent, car insurance, but that's it. No more.
The Netflix passwords, please.
And that.
By the way, Spotify is taking some of the money that they're saving on the Prince and Princess, and they're throwing it at Trevor Noah, who is going to start doing a weekly podcast later this year.
Oh, I know this guy. Black dude.
He says, "We'll engage in interesting and meaningful conversations with some of the world's most fascinating people. We'll also probably fix every single issue humankind has ever faced. So you definitely want to join us for every episode."
And remember, Trevor Noah is currently dating Dua Lipa.
Are they still dating?
Yes.
I thought that was just a rumor.
No.
I have a story about Dua Lipa here in a minute.
Mark.
Thank you.
I think, or maybe it's Minka Kelly.
Bork.
Maybe
it's Bork.
Maybe it's Bork.
Up.
Do you remember
I
the
just remember
name?
vowels. I don't know.
I know you won't, but do you remember the name Teresa Taylor?
I bet I will when you give me the context.
Okay, so she just died at the age of 60 from lung disease, but she's notable for two things. One, she was a very early member of the Butthole Surfers.
Okay, Gibby Haynes, P1.
Yeah.
She's basically a ticket member.
Yeah, so she was born in Arlington.
Texas?
Yes. She played drums in her high school marching band, and one of the fellow percussionists in that band was King Coffee, who also was in Butthole Surfers.
I think we have a cut of one of her performances. Yeah.
Yeah. And so
she was still learning.
So King Coffee joined Butthole Surfers and then recruited Teresa Taylor to join, and so they had two drummers, and that was kind of a thing in the early 90s to have two drummers. And then she ended up leaving the band after experiencing seizures from a brain aneurysm. She underwent brain surgery in 93. So aside from that, she also had a kind of legendary cameo role in Richard Linklater's first movie, Slacker.
Slackers?
Yeah.
Or Slacker?
Slacker. So she was her character, and I don't even know if she has a real name. Like, her character didn't have a name. It was just Pap Smear Girl. So she is on the cover, the artwork, the poster, the DVD cover. That's her on the cover of Slacker. And so let's see if you remember this scene.
Oh, yeah. I know what I got to show you guys, man. This will blow your gourd.
This is her.
I have this friend, all right? She's a gynecologist in Hollywood, and she scored this for me from the lab where she works. It's a Madonna pap smear. I know it's kind of cloudy, but it's a Madonna pap smear. It's got Ciccone on the top. That's like, like a medical label, Ciccone. Check it out. I know it's kind of disgusting, but it's sort of like getting down to the real Madonna. I don't know if you can see it now. I freaked out when it came in the mail. It had 2 pubic hairs in it, and I showed it to this and he stole one of them. But if you look real close, you can see it's still in there.
Gross.
It's about as black as they come.
I wonder if she went to Lamar. Or maybe where Ty went.
It doesn't say which
Martin.
Arlington high school she went to, but yes, she did grow up in Arlington and went to high school in
They
Arlington.
are such the epitome of the one-hit wonder.
Wonder if she knows Myles Garrett.
Bring it
Or Todd Van Poppel.
Sports.
Or Ben Grieve.
Okay, I have a
Or
couple
Corby.
things that I need to get to
Or me.
before we're
Yeah,
done.
what about
Do I
me?
have time for one more?
Yes.
Hopefully I have time for 2 more. One, I need to go ahead and put in my PTO request for November 17th.
Okay.
As November 18th, which is a Saturday, is going to be the inaugural Darker Waves Festival on Huntington Beach.
Nice place, that Huntington Beach. You can do a lot worse.
So, at the Darker Waves Festival, you will have bands such as the English Beat, the Violent Femmes, X, the Cardigans, Psychedelic Furs, OMD, Devo, Soft Cell, Echo and the Bunnymen, the B-52s, and co-headliners Tears for Fears and New Order.
So much 80s. God.
I mean, that's what it is.
How'd they get the Cardigans?
It is, it's centered around 80s new wave music and modern bands that echo those sounds, like Cold Cave and Drab Majesty, stuff like that.
And the B-52s join us now. Let's hear from...
But, man, you want to go to a festival with a bunch of 65-year-olds?
Why not? I already got permission from my wife, so...
Okay.
I probably will have to go by myself because no one will want to go with me. But do I have time for one more? Yeah, okay, one more. All right, so I saw this the other day, and it reminded me of myself a little bit. One, in that people say that this is one of my doppelgangers, and I will always accept it. Yes, Ted Cruz. It's a follow-up on the Pat Benatar story. No. Trent Reznor of Nine Inch Nails.
Okay.
I often get him, and I consider him hot, so I will take that as a doppelganger.
All right.
But he was on Rick Rubin's podcast the other day, and so he talked about how he used to try to shield his children. I didn't realize that Trent Reznor had 5 kids, but he would try to shield his children from pop music.
From just generic pop?
Yeah, because... he says, I generally think it sucks. But then he realized that it's not fair and that they are going to encounter this music on their own anyway.
Yeah.
And just let them have their own musical journey, which is really the tack that I've taken with my daughter. I've not tried to cram 80s New Order.
Yeah, no.
Smiths, whatever, down her throat.
You don't walk into her room and go through her stuff and this sucks.
She knows what I like, and she likes to play stuff for me, and it's a symbiotic thing. We enjoy sharing stuff together, but I'm never going to tell her that sucks. You can't listen to that. But
I've done that.
This is Trent Reznor's story. He says, I heard my daughter, who's 6, singing Dua Lipa the other day. She's so into it, and it was so cool. Like, this is her music. This is her thing. It really reminded me that the art of writing a well-crafted song. I teared up listening to a Dua Lipa track the other day because it was just a really well-done piece of music. You know, it was clever. It felt good. And so then somebody in the comments said, I need to know which Dua Lipa song made Trent effing Reznor tear up. And so he jumped in the comments and he said it was Levitating. He said her execution was spot on, and when she got to the Sugar Boo line, it broke me, and that's when he teared up. So this is the moment.
Is this a big hit?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll recognize the song, and this is the moment that Trent Reznor started to weep.
My love is like a rocket with your blast off, and I'm feeling so electric, that's my ass off. And even if I wanted to, I can't stop. You want me, I want you, baby. My sugar boo, I'm levitating.
So, you know.
Yeah. No, I've never heard that.
You've never insane. That song is everywhere for like 2 years.
Never heard it. I've never heard it. Where would I hear it?
You can walk to the bathroom and hear it
Corby
3
Davidson,
times.
the
Never
ticket.
heard it. Ty, have you heard that?
Oh, so many times.
Oh, no, I've not heard it.
Yeah, Dua Lipa makes me cry with her bottom.
Right, I know.
But I can understand Trent Reznor and his appreciation for songcraft enjoying that as well. And that's your E-News.
All right, good stuff.
One more.
No, Dave. Quiet. Let's get into our tribute to Norm, in which we pulled a wonderful prank on him, and we tried to do it again this morning. Next.
We would like to take our daily opportunity this week to honor our friend Norm, who is being launched into the sun on Friday.
Yeah, or he's going down to see the Titanic, one or the other.
That is a weird parting gift.
It is.
But, okay.
Yeah, we all get in 150. Would we feel bad?
If Norm and Mary were in the sub?
Yeah. Like, oh, God. Our bad.
Yeah, let's not.
Our bad.
It's too soon.
So, yeah, we're going to honor Norm this entire week, and Friday's going to be a kick-ass day here at the radio station as Norm exits off into the wild blue yonder. But in honoring him, I've gone back and listened to a lot of stuff, and one of the funniest things that we did was done sometime between the Avery Johnson era.
Okay.
because you'll hear it in here. So between 05 and 08?
Yeah, I think that's right.
Okay. In which, and you'll hear, too, we were talking about like voice changes. You can hear Norm's voice is decidedly different in 2000, let's say 6, as compared to it now. But, man, Norm, you can tell. Norm was a different broadcaster back then. Norm was way more aggressive and combative, and when he came back from break, he was ready to freaking go. He wasn't strike.
He wasn't backed down by Donnie yet.
Right, but I think
he had his own playground.
Like, look, as we age, we get a little softer. Some of us, more so than others.
Some of us chill.
Yeah, you just kind of relax a little bit. You realize, especially what we do, is not serious at all. And I think Norm, back in the day, he took things really, really seriously, but over time, he evolved. And I think in a really good way. And Norm's in a great spot right now. But one of the bits that that's
why we're launching him into the sun.
Right. One of the bits that I always wanted to try with him, and we finally did it back in 05, 06, was to see how locked in he was. And to do that, I thought it'd be really funny to play return music of hardcore death metal. All right? To see if Norm, how he would react, if he would react at all. So we did this 20-some-odd, or 20-ish years ago, let's call it. And then, just to let you know, we're going to play something very similar. We tried it again today to see if it would work. But let's go back in the Wayback Machine and take a listen to Norm when he was doing the solo show. He didn't have a partner. How he would react when loud metal music was being played as his return cut.
Next ticket ticker, 10:50. Breaking sports news first guaranteed. Jimmy Christopher reminding you to remember the time he spent listening to Norm Hitzkiss middays, 10 to noon on Sports Radio 1310, The Ticket.
Norm plays with the Mavs Johnson. Wednesdays at 11:10. It's the Avery Johnson Show. Brought to you by North Texas GMC Dealers, the American Airlines Center, and Sports Radio 1310, The Ticket.
Coming up at 10:50, Tiki Barber starts the process of firing Tom Coughlin. Incredible sports news and notes. The NFL.
How do you fight through that?
Okay, he fought.
Nothing. Didn't, because I'm telling
He's
you, man.
He's just thinking about Tiki Barber.
Back in the day, you can tell, how anxious he was to get into whatever this segment was.
Man, we got to talk about this Tom Coughlin thing.
He's only got 2 hours. He's got to get to it.
But Tiki Barber?
It's not even local.
No. And whatever he's here, I don't know. It just.
What band was that selection?
Don't even ask me. Something that Kat gave us.
They play pretty music.
Beautiful, right? I mean,
you'd want your kid to go to sleep to it.
And he's the only one, 100% at the radio station back then, that would ever fight through that. You'd be like, what are you doing? All right, so we keep upping the ante here. This was in succession. We did 4 segments in a row, 4 return cuts, and here is number 2.
Jimmy Christopher reminding you to remember the time he spent listening to Norm Hitzkiss middays, 10 to 12 on Sports Radio 1310, The Ticket.
Mike Ryder's 50-cent words, Greg Williams' back porch country witticisms, and Colby Davidson's yuck monkey moments on the hard line. Today at 3 on Sports Radio 1310, The Ticket.
By the way, if I were the Cowboys, would I go after Terrell Owens? It's not a question of how much money you're willing to give. How much rope are you willing to give?
What a genius.
How much are you willing to allow Terrell Owens to run this team?
The focus.
Dude, that can't be real.
Oh, my God.
Is that not amazing?
And absolutely off the charts, incredible.
I mean, there really is. Oh, my God.
It's so loud.
He can hear it. I would just in
It's
case
not
anyone
normal return level.
In case anyone's thinking he's not actually hearing that, it's in his ears. That's how he hears the stations back. And yet he can block it out and make his sports point.
The funniest part to me of that whole thing is the beginning of the cut of that song is just river, river, and nothing. But then he makes his cowboy point about Terrell Owens, and after he says Terrell Owens, there's a long pause. And initially, I remember thinking that the pause was because he was to be like, wait a minute, what is this noise?
Right.
But it was just him gathering his thoughts, because in the middle, after he says Terrell Owens, there is the longest, and he jumps right back into Cowboy. So this is that moment.
And Corby Davidson's Duck Monkey Moments on the Hard Line. Today at 3 on Sports Radio 1310, The Ticket.
By the way, if I were the Cowboys, would I go after Terrell Owens?
Right here.
It's not a question of how much money you're willing to give.
How is he doing that, man?
How much rope are you willing to give?
It's shocking.
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
What a great bit.
I know. It was really funny. Okay, so here is round 3. Back to back to back.
Jimmy Christopher reminding you to remember the time he spent listening to
third time in a row, right?
Yes,
middays,
3 in a row.
10 to noon,
In a row.
on Sports Radio 1310, The Ticket.
It's the first GNO of Odd 6, and you ought to be there. Thursday, January 19th at Sneaky Pete's on Lake Louisville from 3 till 8 from Sports Radio 1310, The Ticket.
We're going to get to the NFL story.
Okay, now this one he's
The deflating news for Levitra that the NFL is dropping them in just a moment. First, I want to get Jared in Dallas, because his opinion is going to be one that I think a lot of people espouse. Jared, good morning. You're on The Ticket.
Morning.
Takes a call through it.
I mean, he talked a little louder at points to get past it, but he went right through it.
Yeah. Boy, hitting the phones. I mean, let's go, man. Let's effing go. Norm is one-track mind.
Maybe he listened to this back in the day.
Yeah, right? So here is on the 4th try.
Okay.
Next ticket ticker on the way at 11:50. Breaking sports news first guaranteed. Jimmy Christopher reminding you to remember the time he's been listening to Norm Hitzges middays, 10 to noon his time, here on Sports Radio 1310, The Ticket.
The latest member of the Cowboys Ring of Honor talks football with Donovan Miller every Thursday morning at 8:10. The Troy Aikman Show, brought to you by North Texas GMC dealers, Miracle Mortgage, and Sports Radio 1310, The Ticket.
We debut a new segment today. Every Tuesday at this time, we will have the Bob's Steak and Chop House. What is... It sounds like Shrek is being mugged. What is this?
Finally,
I'm just trying out some new return music. You don't like this?
No.
It's all been cat approved. It's okay.
This is really good.
Not that bad.
I can see where you'd like this music.
I'm going to drive home to this, I think.
Imagine how these guys' voice feels after recording sessions.
So that's Norm, and we have that drop still of him doing that. I don't know what it's labeled, but I've heard that in the not too distant past. I feel like
how these guys' voice feels after recording sessions.
Baffo.
All right, so yeah.
He finally, it took 4, but he finally responded.
But he started out going, and then he's like, hang on just a second.
This doesn't sound right. This isn't Glenn Miller.
So Mino put together a playlist this morning. Again, this is today, to see if he would respond at all. And Tyler would play these coming out of breaks. And Donovan was in on the gag. And I was running around with both my kids this morning at the bank and at the phone store. And so I still have not heard this. I've been waiting to see if this worked.
Yeah, we did this every break. So let's play 10:30.
Macho Self-Storage Jump Jam. June 29th, Gillies, Dallas. A great night of Texas country music with Jub. Tickets on sale at theticket.com. All proceeds benefit the Senior Source. Brought to you by 4-6's Grit and Glory Craft Beer and Sports Radio 96.7 and 1310 The Ticket.
Shout out to the Secret Ranger DeGrom. Text Velvet to 22126 to register to win a $50 gift card to Velvet Taco, featuring tacos with international flavor, over 20 different and unique taco varieties. Breakfast tacos, too. Coming soon to Allen. Velvet Taco, 13 Metroplex locations and growing.
Donnie, thank you for letting me get my Stefan Diggs out of me. Good morning. We have a big show again this morning. We have a big show for the rest of the week. We have Goose this morning, followed by Jim Nill this morning, Lee Trevino tomorrow. But it's going to be so hard to drag a comment out of him, Tommy. Jeez. And then Mark Cuban on Thursday, and
Nothing.
Jerry Jones on Friday, and more coming. But right now, a friend of the station.
Nothing.
You see, though, how the voice has softened?
He's a lot more mellow, you can tell.
He totally is, but he certainly doesn't hear that in his head. And then one break later.
Yeah, I text Tyler. I was like, all right, this time, just crank it.
Yeah.
Crank it, leave it up longer. Let's see if we can get anything out of him.
It's the world according to the hard line. Get HSOs on sports and all that implies every afternoon from 3 till 7 on Sports Radio 96.7 and 1310 The Tick.
Who is this? Is this person all right? Okay, who is it?
I have no idea.
Is this another station?
Possibly.
Oh, man, okay. It's Tuesday, segment 3.
It's the Goose.
That is awesome, dude.
Well played.
Oh, Norm.
Come on, Norm, you got it. Fight through it.
It's Tuesday, segment 3. That means we get to talk to a goose. Rough.
Oh, Goose had to listen to that.
Yeah, what's Goose thinking?
Oh, what a great, simple bit. All right.
It's perfect.
There you go.
Say hello to our friend Dave.
Thank you. Thank you so much. As you no doubt heard as you were paying rapt attention to Ty's ticket ticker.
What?
You know that TCU has beaten Oral Roberts today to advance to the Final Four of the College World Series.
Spoiler.
I went to TCU. I've lived in Dallas for a long time, and there have been hot women surrounding me for the last 20 years, really.
Really?
So TCU lost.
My voice sounds a little different there.
Yeah. TCU lost. Oh, God, shut up. TCU lost to Oral Roberts on Friday 6-5 in that dramatic top of the ninth comeback, but they beat Oral Roberts 6-1 this afternoon. And so that means Oral Roberts is going home, and now TCU has to play the top seed, Florida. They have to beat Florida twice in a row, Wednesday and Thursday, to get to the championship game. So
let's do this one for to spite Dan Mullen. Let's just focus on spiting Dan Mullen.
What about Urban?
He's too big of a punchline. Let's just
do it for Jim Wacker.
This should be for Wacker. Is this, I mentioned this earlier to you off the air. Both of you. All of you. Everyone. Is this the best year ever for TCU sports?
It's pretty good.
Let's go to our TCU expert, Corby Davidson, for more.
Well, how many schools?
I mean, making it to the national championship in football is...
They'll never do it again.
Yeah.
Maybe this year, but never after that. No, I mean, it's...
They don't have to play your Sooners anymore, though, in a year.
They haven't done that since 1938. All right? So it's been a while. I don't know the last time they were in again, I know they've been good at baseball, but have they ever made it this far? Ty, help me.
Didn't they win the championship a while back?
Hot dog.
Think?
And they made the tournament in basketball, and I think they won a game or two. This has got to be it. This is it. This is the year.
Kirk Saarloos had them going.
Let's go Frogs.
Who's Kirk Saarloos?
Saarloos.
Who's that?
That's their coach.
That's their coach.
In baseball?
Yeah.
Wow, what a fan you are.
No, in hockey.
Yeah.
Major League great Kirk Saarloos.
Oh. Yeah.
Do you know the OU softball coach's name?
Patty Gasso.
Is that because she has Gasso?
No, it's Natty's for Patty. So that's how you know.
I think Bob has talked about backside problems more this week than he has in his entire career.
I've come to grips.
We're all human. Everybody
Diarrhea.
poops.
True. It's a good book.
Sometimes.
One of the top books ever.
That's true. We are still under a swamp crotch warning. The National Weather Service has extended the excessive heat warning until the end of the day tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're reminding people never leave children or pets in the car, even if you leave the AC running for just a minute, because every minute that a car is just sitting there, the inside temperature can raise 10 minutes per minute.
What do you guys think?
10 degrees per minute, not 10 minutes per minute.
If you left...
You're going to the future.
It's like a time warp. It's so hot.
Back in time.
They're going to be 60 years old when you get back to the car.
My God, what happened to you?
Age. Benjamin Button.
Yep.
So what... If you left a car completely rolled up from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., all right? And it's sitting in a grocery store parking lot with no shade, no nothing. What is the inside temperature of that car? And the sun is beating down and it's heat index of 120.
It's not running. It's just sitting there?
Yeah, it's just sitting there. Is it over 3,000 degrees?
Yes.
We should put a frying pan in the front seat with an egg and see what happens.
Yeah.
You know,
leave an egg on the dash.
I think I've told you guys this story before, but...
Is this when you got kicked in the balls?
Mino.
Wasn't me.
Or Ham, I'm sorry.
It was me, but not
It was Ham.
Is it about the one that was stinky?
We were very small children. And my parents, once a month, would have a woman come over to clean the house.
Oh, really? Where was she from?
Fort Worth.
Okay.
But she was extra large. Okay?
Wait.
Big Poppy.
No,
She looked a lot like Girl Big Poppy, but with a bigger haunch.
Okay.
And she didn't show up for a few months. So I asked my mom, I go, Mom, because I liked her. She was real nice.
What happened to that great big old fat person?
I was little. I wasn't jaded like I am now.
Why isn't this house looks as...
What's up with the house,
What happened
Mom?
to all our food?
Why do we have so much more food now? No, I go, Mom, where's Cora Lee? Her name was Cora Lee. As you could figure out. And my mom then sat me and my sister down and said, Cora Lee had an accident. I'm like, what happened? Cora Lee was leaving someone else's house.
Okay.
And it was one of these summer days in which it was 200 degrees outside, and she had her car sitting out there from like 2 to 6 or something. She got in the car, and she was wearing like shorts, like those satiny shorts.
Like Daisy Dukes?
I don't know, man. And she got in her car with those vinyl black seats. And she got third-degree burns on her legs.
No way.
Yes.
She welded herself to the seat.
She did, and she like couldn't get up. It was like bacon sizzling, you know?
So she was stuck in there for months?
No, she got out, but like she was stuck. Like skin peeling off stuck in there, dude.
Dude, that is horrible.
I know. And I'm not sure if I ever saw her again. It was so bad. Shout out Cora Lee if you're still around.
Yeah, book her, Mino.
Okay.
Call the Hardline helpline.
5.
We want to hear from Cora Lee. She's got it.
Bring some of that thigh bacon up here.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's bad. So we don't ever hear the stories of the dogs and cats being killed. Do you have to report that if you leave a dog in the car and it dies, or does that just kind of like, oh? You don't hear those stories. You just hear the kid stuff.
No, I would think though that you would be very high on the awareness list of this sort of thing. Though
the kid thing, a lot of times you forget. And I've heard this story before, and I think we've reported on the air of people that have actually done this before, where the dad is driving around and dropping kids off at daycare and blah, 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 and you end up leaving your 1-year-old in the car seat who was asleep, and it's silent back there. Like, that's happened before.
Oh, for sure.
And that is horrific. And again, how could you live with yourself after that?
I hope it never happens, but it does.
I couldn't live with myself if I did that to my hamster. You know?
You're driving around with your hamster in the back?
You have a hamster?
Well, you never know when you
hamster seat.
Use the habit trail.
By the way, if you are interested in doing your part, ERCOT has issued a voluntary conservation notice from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. today. If you want to not contribute to the record demand and maybe tick your thermostat up a couple degrees. No. Just to give ERCOT a favor.
Now, this is another dad thing that I do, as we were talking about the most dad things that we do nowadays, is every day I yell at my kids to turn the thermostat upstairs from 48 or whatever they sleep with it at.
Well, you give them power, huh?
Well, no, we set it, and it's set, I believe, for 69.
Nice.
Yeah. Nice.
It's real mature, all of you. These are children. And
I'm sure the boys are fine with that.
Yeah, I'm sure they are. But then when they're leaving for, like, my oldest goes to work and my youngest goes to camp or whatever daily, then I'm like, turn it up to 74 when you leave, crank the fans all the way up, shut the shutters, all of that. And it's a fight every day to make that happen. And you
don't have the app?
No, I don't have the app.
Well, call our friends at Milestone. They gave me a nice little app.
They did?
Yeah, and you know how many times I get out of bed to change my thermostat? Well, and by the way, it sounds like a commercial, but I bet you there's plenty of places where you can do this. It's 2023.
I will never do it again.
But thermostat on your phone is one of the great joys of modern times.
I don't have that.
You can be on vacation.
See, but here's
and
the
you
thing.
can crank it up to 78, and then, the flight home, let's crank it back down.
I had one of those at the last house, the house that sunk into the center of the earth.
Yes.
And what will happen is when they have these, like, ERCOT voluntary things, it will automatically kick up your thermostat without you knowing it.
What do you mean?
Like, you can have your whole program. You can have it. I want to sleep at 69
He's saying
degrees.
if you give in to automation, then the government actually controls your thermostat.
But then you can have your programmed temperatures throughout the day and night. But there were many times I woke up and I was like, why is it so hot? Well, it automatically turned itself up.
That's weird.
It's very weird.
It's very Big Brother.
Is it the CHUD, the cannibalistic humanoid underground dweller, that is coming up from your sunken house with a hole in it that's adjusting it?
That's probably what it is.
Do you have a chud, Dave?
Fear the chud.
I have a chub.
A constant chub. All right, that's good stuff, Dave.